Hey guys, what's up? What if Naruto got harem with Yukumo Hidden Leaf Village movie? Naruto-kun, do you really think we can do it? Do you really think we can somehow escape the Sandame Hokage's A, N, B, U squads? I mean, we're just little kids, we're only 6-year-olds and not very well trained, and, sniff, and that bitch Kurenai-sensei and the Hokage sealed away my powers. Said Yukumo angrily and hatefully. She is a 6-year-old little girl with shoulder-length brown hair, teal-colored eyes and white creamy skin. She is wearing a red kimono that reaches her thighs and hugs them like a miniskirt, with black spandex shorts underneath and black ninja sandals. Shhhhhh, don't cry Yukumo-chan, you know I hate it when you don't smile. I promise you we will leave soon, I just have to finalize a few things that's all, said a 6-year-old Naruto in a placating manner, patting Yukumo at the top of the head gently with his other arm wrapped around her waist. She on the other hand was sitting on his lap with her face buried into his chest, her arms tightly wrapped around his torso, as if he would suddenly disappear if she ever let go of him. Naruto is a blonde-haired 6-year-old boy with deep blue slanted eyes and 3 whisker-like lines on each of his cheeks, and longer than average canine teeth that jut out of his lips that complete his feral appearance. He is dressed in a blue sleeveless t-shirt with black ninja pants and blue ninja sandals. Why you promise? Asked Yukumo hopefully, removing her head from his chest to stare at Naruto with an unintentional and teary puppy eyes technique, pulling the strings painfully deep within the blonde's heart. Hi. I promise, I won't go back on my word, besides, I have a plan, said the blonde, trying to suppress the concerned expression on his face, but Yukumo, knowing him too well saw right through it, and it made her all the more worried. She knew Naruto-kun wouldn't go back on his word, and she knew how smart and insightful he was. She had no doubt in her mind that he would figure out a way for them to escape the village, but that was not what worried her. What made her so worried was the fact that Naruto-kun was keeping secrets from her lately. He had never kept secrets from her until roughly 6 months ago, when she first noticed the subtle changes in his behavior. She was scared. She suspected that Naruto-kun was doing business with some dangerous people that he wasn't telling her about. She had tried to follow him on a few occasions, but nothing had been done that was out of the ordinary or would cause reason for suspicion, but that was suspicious in itself to her. How could someone with the plans that she and Naruto had not act suspicious at all for a whole week when she was following him? Sure, this wouldn't be a surprise to someone who didn't know about his plans, but to her, who knew almost everything about him, this was way too suspicious. And Naruto-kun, is there something you want to tell me about? Is there something you're hiding from me? Sniff, I know you've been up to something dangerous. I don't want you to suffer because of me. We don't have to leave, we can stay here. Sniff, I don't want us to leave if the sacrifice you make becomes too much, or worse, if I lose you in the process. Cried Yukumo, burying her tear-stained face against his chest. Yukumo-chan, please Naruto-kun, please tell me what's bothering you. I want us to do this together, I want to share the burden with you. Sniff, I don't want you to suffer alone, tell me what's wrong, damn it. Sniff, is it the Kyuubi? Is it bothering you? Is it escaping? Just tell me. Please, I want to help. Sniff. Cried Yukumo, beating the sides of her fists against Naruto's chest repeatedly in frustration. Tell her, said an angelic but motherly voice from inside Naruto's head. Hey Ka-chan. But why? I don't want to worry her. I'm trying to protect her feelings. Didn't you say that I had to protect the heart of someone that I love? If I tell her then. Do not be a fool, Naru-chan. By keeping secrets from her, you are giving her the impression that she hasn't earned your trust. Do you know how much that must hurt for her? To believe that the person she loves and trusts the most does not feel the same way about her. Replied the voice, scolding the 6-year-old with a motherly tone. Naruto's eyes widened in shock. How could he have not thought about that? His mother had warned him about this before, that it was the actions of a person that spoke louder than his words, and sometimes spoke louder than even his thoughts. Just because his intention and thoughts were to protect her and shield her heart from pain didn't mean that it would magically happen if his actions provoked the opposite reaction. Do not let it bother you too much, Naru-chan. What is important is that you learn from your mistakes and not repeat them. She has earned our trust already. Tell her everything. Besides, if we cannot trust her, then there is no one that we can ever trust in this cursed world, said the voice in a sage-like tone. Ah-chan, arigato, I will tell her everything. I think it is a good idea. I don't want her to hurt anymore, replied the blonde bundle. Okay, I will tell you my plans, said Naruto with a dead serious tone, surprising Yukumo slightly. She hadn't really expected him to cave in so quickly. He was usually stubborn in his views, beliefs, and decisions. And Nani? Why you will? Asked Yukumo hopefully. I trust you. Besides, you and I are partners, we have a better chance of success if we work together, said Naruto, staring at Yukumo blankly. Yukumo knew that her Naruto-kun was serious by the look in his face. She would never admit it, but it scared her to no ends when he was like this, because it felt like he didn't have emotions at all. When he had that look, he was just cold, almost like a killing machine. Sniff, okay, sniff, replied Yukumo. Alright then, first of all, I am going to show you something. It is a letter from my biological mother. She used a time-lapse seal on me just before she died. A seal that would activate when I reached the age of 10. The same age that she and my father graduated the Ninja Academy. But she made provision for the possibility of me graduating earlier than they did. She wanted me to have the gift she left for me as soon as I was ready to begin my higher level ninja education. She set it up that I would be able to release the seal with my blood and chakra if I was able to discover it before the age of 10. Thanks to meeting Kyuubi at an early age, I was able to view all of my memories up until the day I was born and thus discovered the seal. And all my memories that the Sandaime Hokage had sealed away," said Naruto with an angry snarl, giving Yukumo a chance to digest the information. "What? But I thought that you said you had never met your parents. I thought you were an orphan since birth," snapped Yukumo with a betrayed expression on her face. "Yes I did, but I didn't lie to you, that was the truth. I have never met my parents in person and they did die on the day of my birth. That is why my mother put a time-lapse seal on me, so that she can communicate with me and bear me some gifts even from beyond the grave," explained Naruto. "Oh. I see, what was in the seal, if it's not too private?" asked Yukumo nervously, a small red hue forming on her cheeks from embarrassment. "Damn it Yukumo. He probably thinks you're too nosy for your own good. I can't believe I asked him about something so personal," thought Yukumo. "What was in the seal? I'll do better than tell you, I'll let you read her letter," said Naruto, causing Yukumo's eyes to widen in surprise again. She didn't expect him to let her read something so private, she only expected him to give her a brief summary of what was inside the seal. "What? But you don't have to if you don't want to, it's too personal, isn't it?" asked Yukumo, trying to fight against her own curiosity. "No, it's fine, I want to share this with you. You're the closest thing I have to family. I consider you like that at least. I love you that much," said Naruto, trying his hardest to resist the blush on his cheeks. Thank you, I love you too," said Yukumo with a cute blush on her cheeks, averting her eyes from her only friend to hide her embarrassment. "Why am I feeling like this? I mean, Hess my only precious person, it's alright to tell him that I love him isn't it?" thought Yukumo, unable to comprehend the attraction between male and female, maybe because of her young age perhaps. "Alright then, you remember the scroll with the mind transfer techniques that I gave to you right?" asked Naruto. Hi demo, what does this have to do with your mother's seal and letter Naruto-kun? Asked Yukumo with a cute confused pout. Naruto, with his mind willed a folded scroll to appear on his hand before handing it over to his best friend. Some might have wondered how someone can just will something into existence, but the truth of the matter was that although their physical contact felt real, there was actually nothing real about it. They were communicating through a modified mind transfer jutsu that Yukumo created for the sole purpose of communicating with her best friend. The jutsu required that her Naruto-kun be at least 2 miles within her position. From then on it was a simple matter of her creating a mind link between the two of them, combined with her skill in Genjutsu. She could create a mental plane where she and Naruto could communicate with each other, as if they were in the physical realm. The jutsu was so good that if a person was not made aware that he or she was inside her jutsu, then it was almost impossible to figure it out, much less break it. The scary part was that she could do this, despite her bloodline limit being sealed away, or rather, the mental manifestation of her bloodline limit being sealed away. Well you see, here, this will explain everything to you, said Naruto, putting the letter into her hand. Dear Naruto-kun. Sachi, my baby, please forgive your Kachan. I didn't mean to die on you Naruto-kun. I wanted to raise you up myself. I wanted to be there on your first day at the academy, when you first graduated, your first date, and I wanted to be there on your wedding day. It pains my heart to know that I won't be able to be there for you. I can't believe life can be so unfair. But you shouldn't dwell on the past Sachi-kun. Please be a strong boy for mommy. I know you'll grow up to become a very powerful shinobi one day, just like your father. Sachi-kun, I don't have a lot of time left. You and I are lying together on your crib as I write this letter. The Kyuubi has been ripped away from me by a man that I believe to be Uchiha Madara. I do not know how he has managed alive this long, but be sure to remember that name and make sure you become strong. He will definitely return for the Kyuubi one day, your father. He has gone to do battle with him and the Kyuubi to protect the village. Yes Sachi, your father is the Yondaime Hokage, Namikaze Minato. It shouldn't be hard for you to figure it out though. You look exactly like him. No one can deny you your heritage, even though we were married under secrecy. Sachi, I am going to tell you some important things that you need to be aware of if you are to survive this cruel and harsh ninja world. Sachi, the Kyuubi has always been kept by Uzumaki clan. Your great ancestor, Uzumaki Mito was the first container, I was the second, and there is no doubt in my mind that your father is going to seal it inside of you. Now don't be scared Sachi-kun, we Uzumaki have very powerful bodies, and our chakra reserves are excessively high, far higher than any shinobi family and far more potent. Moreover, Our family are the undisputed masters of seals and barriers. These abilities are also crucial in our ability to contain the fox, as we have a very strong affinity to seals and barriers. Sachi, I know the life of a Jinchuriki. It is very harsh, demanding, and heartbreaking. Sachi-kun, I need you to find someone special for yourself, someone to love and treasure, because only pure love can save you from the darkness that is born within a person when they are bonded to a tailed beast. I wish I could have been that person for you, Neri-chan, but I can't. I'm as good as dead already. I'm already living on borrowed time. Neri-chan, be careful who you trust. You are the last heir of the great Uzumaki clan, and the only son of the Yellow Flash of Konoha. A lot of people will want to attach themselves to you, or use you for various reasons. The ninja world is full of deception and treachery. Make sure you have a keen eye, Naruto-kun. This is not what a normal mother would teach their son. But we are not a normal family, we are a shinobi family. Do not give your trust to others freely, Sachi. Be careful, be very careful. Do not worry too much though, you will have the strength to match or even surpass your father and I. Kachan will make sure of it. I have sealed behind your neck a hidden time-lapse storage seal that will be activated when you reach the age of 10, the same age me and your father graduated the academy. But, if you discover this letter before that, then know this. The seal can be revealed and opened by only your blood and chakra. Do not trust anyone with the contents or even the existence of this seal, not even the Hokage. These are family secrets, Naruto-kun. They should be treasured and kept within the clan and family. Inside the seal are all the Uzumaki clan seals and barrier techniques that I am aware of, and everything about our family and history, dating back to our origin from the Sage of the Six Paths. You will learn more about the sage within those notes, and you will learn about our homeland, Ashiagakur no Sato. I also have a lot of water techniques sealed inside the scroll. Our family have a strong affinity to water, and we have all the water techniques you can think of. Use them wisely, Naruto-kun. There is also the blood clone and shadow clone techniques inside the scroll. Sachi-kun, the shadow clone returns all of its experiences and memories when it is dispelled. This technique was in Uzumaki creation that was inspired by our lack of chakra control. In our early years of ninja development, you can use the shadow clone technique to train your chakra control. Study sealing arts or any large text of information, and practice your ninjutsu with it, as anything the clone learns will be transferred back to you in the form of photographic memories. Now be careful, this technique is very chakra extensive, although as in Uzumaki, and the son of the great Yondaime Hokage, you won't have to worry too much about your chakra, but be careful of dispelling too many clones at once, especially if you were using them for studying large blocks of text. Your father was a specialist of space-time techniques, and one of his greatest creations was the Hiroshin no Jutsu, an instant transportation technique that amplifies his speed and reflexes to an unreal level. I have stored all of his space-time techniques and seals inside the storage seal, and also his ninjutsu, including the Rasengan. These are the techniques that made your father a legend. I have no doubt in my mind that you will one day be able to master them. Your father wanted to create a third level of the Hiroshin. Maybe you will one day be able to improve it. He also wanted to add a nature element to the Rasengan. Nevertheless, you have in your possession all of his notes. Use them wisely. Sachi, Kachan did something illegal, but I did it for you, Sachi-kun. I am sure that it will benefit you in the future. There is no doubt in my mind about it. Neri-chan, there is a scroll that is given to the Hokage by the clans of Konoha when he takes the position as a form of trust between the village and the clans of the village. The scroll contains all of the techniques of all of the clans inside it. This is done by the clans in order to prove their loyalty to the village and their trust in the Hokage and the village. This also promotes good relations between the two parties. More than that, Sachi, is that this scroll is also made to ensure the continued existence of the clans. Sometimes, a clan will be destroyed, like our own was destroyed all those years ago, and sometimes clan techniques and information about the clans can be lost during the chaos and destruction. The clans allow the Hokage to keep a scroll of all their techniques so that the little kids who survive the carnage can have access to information and techniques of their clan. The Hokage will make sure that they get a copy of the section of the scroll within his possession that contains the properties of said survivor's clan. The clans of Konoha are the Yamanaka clan, the Kurama clan, Uchiha, Hyuga, Aburame Yuzuka, Akamichi, and the Nara clan. Sachi, am not proud of what I have done, but this is the ninja world, and ninja must always use whatever advantage that is given to them, deception, trickery, whatever is necessary, and ninja must do to achieve their goals. My goal is to protect the people I love, Sachi-kun, and you are the person I love the most. That is why I made copies of the scroll that was entrusted to Minato-kun by the clans. Your father has an obligation to uphold. He made an oath to them that he would protect their secrets as the Hokage, but I am under no such obligation, for I never made such an oath. Use what I have given you wisely, Naruto-kun. Yes, Kachan can be quite deceptive and diabolical, but I want what is best for you. I want you to survive and live a long and prosperous life. And I want you to be happy. To do that, you will need a lot of strength, even as a baby. Only a few minutes after your birth you were dancing and tangling with life and death. Your life will be even harder, but you will pull through. Kachan has made sure of it. One more thing, Sachi. I left all of my research and studies of the medical ninja arts. It wasn't my forte. I never took interest in that field until I got married to Minato-kun. Sachi, us Uzumaki are blessed with longevity. We can even live up to twice the age of normal human beings, or even shinobi. I didn't want to outlive your father too much. So I delved into the medical field so that I can find a way to prolong his life, but as you can see, I have run out of time myself. But I will leave my research with you. Maybe you can find a way to prolong the life of your own special person. This is it, Naru-chan. Minato-kun should be back soon. I don't know what is going to happen, but I know he will seal the Kyuubi inside of you, no matter how much I protest. It is his duty as the Hokage. He will no doubt train you well, but should something happen to him, you have the storage seal to help you. I love you, Naruto-kun. Kachan loves you so much. Never forget that, ever. No matter what you do, no matter what you become and no matter where you go, never forget my love. I will never forsake you, Naruto-kun, and make sure you have lots of grandchildren ready for Kachan to spoil. Goodbye, my Sachi. Namikaze Uzumaki Kushina. Oh, Naruto-kun. I am so sorry, wailed Yukumo, launching herself into the blonde's chest, tears flowing down her cheeks rapidly. This is so sad. Why is life so unfair to you? Why do all the bad things always have to happen to you? This is so unfair, sniff sniff, cried Yukumo, releasing heartbreaking sobs from her throat. Hey now, don't cry, Yukumo-chan. I'm fine, really. Kachan told me not to dwell on the past. I miss her. I wish I could have been raised by her, but she wanted me to be happy. She sacrificed everything for my happiness and did so much to ensure that I had a chance to survive this world. I won't disappoint her, so please, don't cry. The only thing I want to see is your smile, not your tears. Begged Naruto, trying to maintain a stoic expression but failing miserably, tears threatening to fall out of his own eyes too. The two children cried in each other's arms for 15 minutes straight, releasing all of their suppressed pain and sorrow to each other. The Ido demon made her kill her own parents. Her beloved sensei, who she thought believed in her, betrayed her and sealed her powers with the help of the Hokage. The remainder of her family deserted her and wanted nothing to do with her, and she is imprisoned in her own home under constant A&B, you watch, and has been denied her dream of becoming a great Kunoichi of her clan. Despite her unhealthy physical condition, all of this, and she still cries for you, believing that you have had a far worse life than her. What a strange girl. She didn't even comment on the fact that you are the son of the Yondaime Hokage, said the Kyuubi. Sniff, look what you did to me, you, sniff, made me cry. Boys aren't supposed to cry, sniff, said the blonde in between sobs. Yukumo giggled childishly at her friend's attempt to be a man. She couldn't help it, it was so cute. Sniff, sorry, I didn't mean to, replied Yukumo, unable to suppress her laughter. For some strange reason she felt so much better now, almost as if a heavy burden had just been lifted off of her shoulders. She felt so calm and carefree. Naruto laughed with her. He just realized how stupid he must have sounded talking about boys not crying, even though he was choking with his own sobs. You should stop fooling around. How long do you think the girl can hold this jutsu up for? Warned the Kyuubi, causing Naruto's eyes to widen slightly. Ahem, Yukumo-chan, I have to tell you something important before we run out of time, said Naruto, wiping away the tears from his face with a serious expression. Yukumo, realizing that her Naru-kun wasn't playing around anymore, adopted her own serious expression. What is it, Naruto-kun? Asked Yukumo. Yukumo, I have already a way for us to not only escape the village, but to stay safe and receive proper training until we are ready to take on the Hidden Leaf Village, said Naruto with a serious expression. Yukumo's eyes widened in awe and surprise, and a little happiness too. Sugoi. How did you do it? Asked Yukumo with childish curiosity. I have been collaborating with an older boy by the name Yakushi Kabuto for quite a while now. I met him on the same day that I met Kachan, I mean Kyuubi. He is the adopted son of the best medical ninja currently living in the village. Together with my mother's research that I have and his knowledge, we have come up with a possible cure for your physical condition, explained Naruto, causing Yukumo's eyes to widen in disbelief and happiness. But how? You didn't even examine me or take any blood samples. And what has this cure got to do with our escape? Not that I'm not grateful, of course. Asked Yukumo, not able to believe what to her was too good to be true. She didn't know much about medical stuff, but she had been through so many tests and examinations in her life of imprisonment that it was impossible for her not to at least know enough to question Naruto about a few things. True, but Kabuto was able to get access to all of the data on you that has been collected by the village, including blood samples amongst other things. We were able to make a diagnosis and come up with a cure. Although Kabuto did most of the work, I also found out that Kabuto is not a loyal Konoha shinobi. He is a spy that answers directly to Orochimaru of the Densetsu no Sannin. If you didn't know, Orochimaru is a rogue shinobi that deserted the Hidden Leaf, but what most people do not know is that he has his own hidden village, Atagakure no Sato. Kabuto told me that he has talked to Orochimaru and that he wants us to be a part of his hidden village and unlike Konoha, will not hinder our growth. Orochimaru promises proper training and power if we agree to help him destroy the Hidden Leaf and stay loyal to Odo, said Naruto, taking a breath from his long explanation to give Yukumo a chance to digest the information. Yukumo didn't know how to feel about this. On the one hand, she was very happy that she would not only be cured of her disease, but would also be able to become a proper kunoichi and not have to live in a place she hated so much, but on the other hand, she had heard very bad things about the Orochimaru. The Densetsu no Sanin were the Hokage's students, and she hated the Hokage and didn't trust him at all. So why would she trust his student? Sure, he was a missing ninja and hated Konoha, it seemed just like her, but she didn't like his association with the Hokage one bit. I don't know, Naruto-kun. I heard some very bad things about him when my medical observers thought I wasn't conscious, like I heard that he did cruel experiments on people and even children, said Yukumo. Naruto flinched when Yukumo mentioned experiments and children, causing Yukumo to narrow her eyes at him with a speak up or die expression, making the blonde to gulp nervously. What is it? Tell me, demanded Yukumo ominously. You see, I had to agree to an experiment that Orochimaru wants to conduct on me as part of the deal. You see, because of Ka-chan, I am the only one who can survive the experiment and it will give me a lot of power if the experiment is successful. I will be near invincible. Ka-chan has assured me that she won't let me die though, she thinks she knows I can survive the experiment, said Naruto defensively. The look on his friend's face was too scary for comfort. The last thing he wanted was for her to use her genjutsu on him. He didn't fancy finding out if the Kurama clan's genjutsu could be dispelled by his Ka-chan or not. What? Are you insane? What on Kami's planet made you agree to something so stupid? Namikaze Uzumaki. Naruto, I'm going to kill you, screamed Yukumo, tackling the blonde onto the ground with her hands wrapped around his throat. How dare you? What am I going to do if you die? How, you selfish bastard. You wanna risk your life just for power? Why would you do that? I thought you loved me. Sniff, screamed Yukumo furiously. Normally she wouldn't have had enough strength to subdue him, but inside her jutsu, she could do anything she wanted, even overpower him if she wanted to. Damn, she must really be mad if she called me by my full name, thought the blonde. Can't breathe, whizzed out the blonde. Why? I knew it was too good to be true, said Yukumo, burying her face into Naruto's chest. She couldn't take it, she couldn't risk losing him of all people, not him, anything but that. Yukumo-chan, do you trust me? Asked Naruto simply, having regained his breath after the petite girl's assault on his person. I trust you, Naruto-kun, said Yukumo. Then believe me when I say that I won't die on you. We're going to leave this place together. I am going to survive Orochimaru-san's experiment and we are going to heal you and unseal your true power. We will get our vengeance, for you and for me, and we will live in a village where our talents and abilities will be appreciated. I promise, please believe in me, Yukumo-chan, said Naruto, his arms wrapped around the petite girl who was snuggled on top of him. You promise you won't die and leave me alone? Asked Yukumo with a cute teary-eyed pout. I promise, said Naruto with a deadening facial expression. Oh okay, I believe in you, Naruto-kun, said Yukumo with a meaningful look, trying to pass on her feelings onto Naruto. Arigato, trailed off Naruto, staring in slight shock at Yukumo's transparent form, only to realize that he was also disappearing. We're out of time, I can't believe 2 hours have already passed. It felt so short, said Naruto with a disappointed expression on his face. I'm sorry, Naruto, but I can't hold the jutsu up any longer, I'm getting tired, Guminasai, apologized Yukumo, trying to hold back the tears threatening to spill from her eyes. This is the part she hated the most, because it would only be a week before she would be able to see Naruto-kun again, unless she escaped and went to his apartment again, but that was too dangerous. They didn't want to risk the possibility of someone discovering their connection to each other. Heck, nobody even knew that they knew each other. Don't worry about it, we will be leaving this place the next time we meet. Stay safe, Yukumo-chan, until I come for you, said the blonde as he vanished from the plane along with Yukumo, only to wake up in a meditative position on a thick branch of a tree 2 miles away from the Kurama mansion. Finally, boss, I was just about to kick you in the nuts. Guard duty is boring, you know. Why can't you make us do something more exciting? Whined one of his 4 doppelgangers watching over the blonde while he was unconscious. It was something important that he practiced nowadays. He would make 5 doppelgangers whenever he met Yukumo. One would set up a cloaking genjutsu that Yukumo had taught him to hide his location and presence, while the other 4 would be on guard duty from within the jutsu. At home was another doppelganger posing as him. He knew that the Hokage had a way of watching him, because Kyuubi could always sense it when someone was watching them. He had figured part of the Hokage's jutsu out when he discovered chakra seal tags on each of his clothing items and even all around his apartment, so had done what he thought was one of his most ingenious plans. Had created a blood clone of himself and made it live inside his apartment and wear his ordinary clothes that had chakra seal tags on them while he moved out and started living in one of Orochimaru's old and undiscovered secret hideouts that Kabuto had told him about. But the person living inside his apartment wasn't just a blood clone, Naruto knew. After he unsealed some of his memories that had been blocked away with the help of Kyuubi, that the Sandaime Hokage sometimes did examinations on his seal when he was knocked unconscious, and if the examination was done on the clone, then there would be a whole lot of trouble. Luckily, he had access to all the notes of the four symbol seal that his Tausen used to seal the Kyuubi inside of him. He had discovered that his father had combined two four symbol seals to create the 8 trigram sealing style to seal the yang chakra of the Kyuubi inside of him while using the dead demon consuming seal to separate the yin chakra and seal it into himself so that he can take it to the stomach of the death god. Naruto wasn't sure why his father had done it. He still needed to gain a far greater understanding of the sealing arts to comprehend his father's reasoning. But that didn't matter for now. What mattered was that he had been able to learn the 4 symbol seal and the 8 trigram sealing style that his father created so that he can replicate the seal on his stomach. He then placed the seal on the blood clone's stomach and then, with the help of his Kachan, was able to pump 6 taels worth of Yauki into the seal on his clone and stored it there in the exact same manner that his Kachan was sealed into him. But Naruto knew that should there be another attack or assassination attempt on him, or rather, his clone, then the Hokage would once again try to seal away his memories of the incident and in doing so, would discover that the other memory blocks were missing. Luckily, his Kachan knew exactly how to replicate the memory blocks. Shed spent countless hours studying them before they had made their first contact. This meant that they could reseal away the memories of his clone to the time before he discovered his Kachan, better known as the Kyuubi. This way, they were not able to stay one step ahead of the Hokage, but many steps ahead of him. While his clone was posing as him, Naruto had spent all his time learning and training in Orochimaru's old hideout. Kabuto came to check him out and spar with him from time to time. Sometimes they would discuss their plans for the future, and other times they would discuss medicine and science together. He had learned a lot from the notes his biological Kachan left him on the field, and had learned even more from Kabuto, all for the sake of helping out his first precious person, or rather, first precious human. It is almost time. I have to go to the hideout and meet Kabuto to finalize things. Yakumo-chan, hold on just a little longer, thought Naruto before disappearing in a shunshin, his shadow clones disappearing in puffs of smoke right after his departure. At the center of Konohagakure no Sato stood a tall building with the kanji for fire painted on the outside. Inside the tower, behind a desk in an office on the top floor, sat a 68-year-old man with gray-white, spiky hair with a small, white goatee. He has numerous wrinkles and a few liver spots on his face, and is dressed in a long, white robe with the kanji for fire shadow at the back with black ninja sandals. How goes your investigation, Itachi-kun, Shisui-kun? Asked the old man, who is also known by the name Sarutobi Hiruzen, the Sandaime Hokage of Konohagakure no Sato. Hokage-sama, we have some disturbing news, said the 11-year-old Uchiha Itachi, a boy with dark eyes and black hair that frames his face, and the rest held in a relatively short ponytail with long, pronounced tear troughs that run under his eyes. He is dressed in a black t-shirt that has a high turtleneck collar with a standard, wide A, N, B, U armor above. Arm guards that protect his forearms and black A, N, B, U pants with black ninja sandals. What did you find? Asked Hiruzen wearily, his eyes narrowed with a troubled frown on his features. Our Jinjutsu assessment was inconclusive. Our desist comrades, it appears, had already been dead for 2 weeks when their bodies were discovered. The decaying process of the corpses had already reached a level where it would be impossible for us to physically determine whether they were under such effects prior to their deaths. Demo, said the older-looking Uchiha Shisui, the 14-year-old boy with dark, short, and unkempt hair with a relatively broad nose and dark eyes with markings around his eyes that are turned upwards at each end. He is wearing an identical outfit to his partner Itachi, except with a dark blue turtleneck shirt, as opposed to Itachi's black and without arm guards. What is it, Shisui-kun? Asked a Hokage, his troubled expression making him look even older than he was. Hokage-sama, we discovered something much more troubling. The stab wounds on the victims were not a match for any weapon that we have in Konohagakure no Sato, except for one, Yondaime Hokage-sama's Hirishin kunai. Replied Shisui neutrally, having already had more than enough time to get over his shock of the discovery. Sarutobi Hiruzen was the third of the 4 Hokages in Konoha's history, and the longest-serving member of the 4, and thus attaining the most experience. He was hailed as the god of all shinobi, for his diverse and powerful skill set, and seen everything there was to be seen in the ninja world. He was also the student of the first and second Hokages, and had stared death right in the face more times than he could even count, yet nothing he had ever heard or encountered before, had ever made him feel the kind of that the little boy of the Uchiha clan was able to make him feel with just a few words. Nothing. I'm sorry Shisu-kun, but could you repeat yourself for me and kindly explain yourself? Asked Hiruzen in slight disbelief, unable to bring himself to believe that his own successor could possibly still be alive and become an enemy to his home village, or worse, that an enemy shinobi had been able to replicate something that not even he or the Yondame's own sensei could. Either possibility was not welcome. This is the same technique that was able to shed light for Konoha against a strong Iwagakure, a single man pushing back a whole ninja village on his own. Okajama, all of the deceased were stabbed through the back. The position of the wounds and the nature of the attacks suggest that they were unable to react to the culprit's movements. With an inconclusive genjutsu assessment, the only other two possibilities are that either a very powerful speed technique or an instant transportation technique was used. Two things that Yondame-sama was renowned for. The wounds were definitely a result of the use of Yondame-sama's kunai, explained Shisui, leaving the Hokage to come to his own conclusions about the information presented. I see, and what of the sweeper? Why did she not report that the four that were assigned to the Kurama heiress were deceased for over 2 weeks? Why would she report that everything was normal when it clearly wasn't? Is she a traitor? Asked Hiruzen with narrowed eyes. No she isn't, she was under a powerful genjutsu, a genjutsu that could rival mine and even Shisui senpai's genjutsu. We believe that the jutsu was cast by the Kurama heiress herself to buy time to cover both hers and her accomplice's tracks. In other words, this wasn't a kidnapping, but a well-planned and executed escape, explained Itachi. What is going on here? I saw Minato-kun die in front of my own eyes, and I even held his corpse, yet here I am, presented with near irrefutable evidence that he is not only alive but a possible enemy to Konoha. It is unlikely that he would be alive, but at the same time impossible for an enemy to replicate Minato-kun's technique. What am I supposed to think here? Assuming that Minato-kun were alive, or someone with the knowledge of his techniques, what would they possibly want the most? Thought Hiruzen before widening his eyes in shock and fear. What is the matter, Hokage-sama? Exclaimed the two Uchiha prodigies simultaneously, their hands already firmly placed on their tantos strapped on their backs. The duo watched intently as their Hokage pulled out a crystal ball from the drawer under his desk, his hand hovering over the ball, and without even molding any hand seals channeling his chakra into the technique. The image that appeared on the ball was that of a little 6-year-old boy with spiky blonde hair and 3 whisker-like lines on each of his cheeks, a blue and mostly neon orange jumpsuit with blue sandals. The boy was sitting on a swing, watching the other kids play with a sad expression on his face that he was trying to hide. The Hokage released a loud sigh of relief, seeing that his so-called surrogate grandson was still safe within the walls of Konoha. So that's what he was worried about. Not unexpected, with the Kurama heiress's disappearance and the kind of evidence that was collected, the boy could and should be a possible target for the enemy, thought Shisui. Shisui, Itachi, said the Hokage with authority, forsaking the kun suffixes to their names as a sign of the seriousness of the situation. Hi, Hokage-sama, saluted the duo rigidly. The information obtained will from now on become an S-rank secret. You are not to disclose this information to anyone who doesn't already know about it under the penalty of death, understood? Asked Hiruzen rhetorically. Hi, replied the duo in sync. Good. Now, your next mission is an S-class mission of the highest importance. You are to watch over and protect the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, Uzumaki Naruto at all times of the day, but you are not to make contact or even be seen by either him or anyone else he associates with. You will take turns in watching over him. Itachi, you take the day shift. Shisui, you take the night shift. This mission will begin immediately, and refusal of the mission is not an option, understood? Said Hiruzen with a deadly stare, one that made him not recognizable as the kind old man, but as the Hokage and the Kami no Shinobi. Hi, Hokage-sama, replied the Uchiha prodigies. Good. Dismissed, said Hiruzen, watching the two boys disappear with a silent shunshin. Those boys are two of the best that I have in my ranks. If they can't protect him, then no one can. I need to make contact with Uraya-kun. He will need to hear all about this. Sigh, I'm getting too old for this job. I need to find another successor soon, thought Hiruzen. The Tagakur no Sato. Kukuku. Welcome back Naruto-kun. I was starting to think that you weren't going to return to us. Orochimaru, a man wearing plain gray garbs with black pants and a thick purple rope belt tied in a large knot behind his back and blue tamo-shaped earrings. He is wearing a black polo neck under his outfit. He has pale white skin with waist-length black hair, amber eyes with slits in his pupils and purple-like markings around his eyes, making him look more like a snake that has taken the form of a human. MNNNN, mumbled Naruto, unable to speak properly, reason being that his body was floating inside a cylindrical glass container full of liquid, with an oxygen mask attached to his face, and a numerous amount of cord-like syringes impaling him all over his body. Kukuku, I'm sorry Naruto-kun, but you are going to have to work on your vocabulary if we are going to communicate properly with each other. Kukuku. laughed Orochimaru theatrically, unable to hold back his amusement seeing the incredulous expression on his newest subordinate. Come on now Orochimaru-sama, you shouldn't antagonize Naruto-kun, he has already contributed so much to our scientific knowledge, he is after all, a living and breathing scientific miracle, said Kabuto, a 10-year-old boy who has black eyes with gray hair, kept in a ponytail and wears circular glasses. He is also wearing a dark purple shirt with a white undershirt and a white obi around his waist worn at an angle, dark purple pants, blue sandals, and a shuriken holster on his right leg, and a Togakure forehead protector is worn around his forehead and dark purple gloves with open fingers covering his hands. What is this feeling? I can feel their essence. Thought the blonde Uzumaki. Relax Naru-chan, you are merely sensing their chakra, this is no doubt a result of the experiment, one of the main qualities of the implanted material was chakra sensing, remember? Said the Kyuubi from inside the blonde's mind. So that is how it is, what a useful ability, I can even tell the nature and feeling of their chakra, this is good. Replied the blonde with a little excitement. Naruto was broken out of his thoughts when Kabuto released the water from the glass cylinder he was contained in, the oxygen mask, and the syringes dislodged themselves with a ram hand sign, and a small flare of chakra from Kabuto, causing the blonde to fall face first into the ground. My Naruto-kun, a little clumsier and we, if this is your level, then I am afraid you don't have what it takes to be able to join my elite shinobi, said Orochimaru, mocking the blonde with a mischievous glint in his eyes, an attempt to test the limits of the boy's temperament. Damn it. Ka-chan, what is wrong with my body? Asked Naruto with a little panic in his voice. It took a great amount of energy from the both of us in order to not only keep you alive, but to assimilate the foreign DNA material into you, plus, you haven't moved at all in just over 2 weeks now, you just need a little time to get reacquainted with your body, and regain some energy that's all. Don't worry about anything, I won't let anything bad happen to you, said the great demoness motherly. Hi, arigato Ka-chan. Replied Naruto, slowly getting up to his feet. A tick mark appeared on Orochimaru's forehead at Naruto's complete disregard of his insulting attempts. Kabuto only smirked to himself silently, successfully restraining his laughter for fear of Orochimaru-sama's wrath. How do you feel Naruto-kun? Asked Kabuto with his trademark smirk on display, pushing up his glasses with his index and middle finger. Tired and drained but fine, was Naruto's simple answer. I see, but what I meant was, do you feel any different, something related to the DNA implants? Asked Kabuto. I can feel your life force, your chakra, I can sense it, its nature, and I can somewhat discern your emotions, or rather, your character, somewhat, replied Naruto. So I was right after all, chakra sensing would have had to be a quality attained from the experiment, given the offensive abilities that you might also gain. Demo, what did you mean when you said you could discern our character by sensing our chakra? Asked Kabuto. Orochimaru-sama's chakra feels cold and sinister, yours just feels cold, the chakra is an extension of the life force of a human, with the soul being the source, that being said, if your chakra feels cold and sinister, then you are most likely a cold and sensitive person, said Naruto, his words making Orochimaru narrow his eyes at Naruto, blasting him with his full killing intent. Oh, Orochimaru-sama, sputtered Kabuto, hoping to stop his master from killing his favorite ally, but failing to suppress his fear long enough to take any action. Tell me Naruto-kun, what are you going to do now that you have this power? Do you not trust us anymore because of our cold and sinister character as you say? Are you planning to betray me? Asked Orochimaru, taking slow and deliberate steps towards the blonde for the intimidating effect. Our agreement was never about trust, we have an agreement that is mutually beneficial, that's all there is to it, the nature of your chakra doesn't concern me, Ka-chan's chakra has a million times more malice in it than yours, but I trust her, said the blonde. Why isn't he affected by Orochimaru-sama's killing intent? Surely even he couldn't have that much resistance could he? Thought Kabuto, eyes widening slightly in shock. Ka-chan? What are you talking about? Who is your Ka-chan? Asked Orochimaru in confusion, now regretting not having spoken more to the boy before subjecting him to his experiments, although just thinking about it, there was no way he could have held back his scientific curiosity any longer than he did even if time were to be reversed. My Ka-chan, well, most people know her as the Kyuubi no Kitsune, explained Naruto, confirming what the sun with black sclera in the eyes and a black stripe running from the middle of his forehead and down the bridge Ixanin already suspected. So, he has already made contact with the Kyuubi, and it has already sunk in its claws into him. This is more complicated than I thought, I can't pretend around him, not with his chakra sensing abilities and definitely not with the Kyuubi as his ally, he'll see right through me, I won't be able to turn Naruto-kun into my loyal pawn it seems, manipulating him is near impossible. But there is no reason for him not to be my ally. We share the same loathing for Konoha and Sarutobi-sensei, and he has shown a great interest in science. He also seems to have a bond with Kabuto. Everything will be fine, thought Orochimaru, lamenting the fact that he won't be able to take over the boy's body when he completed his rebirth jutsu. I see, one more question though, why are you unaffected by my killing intent? Strong and elite Jounins have trembled before me, yet you, a mere child, are able to stand before my present so casually. Why is that so? Asked Orochimaru offhandedly. This boy is shrouded in mystery. I can't afford to let my guard down around him, although, he doesn't seem like the type to betray someone without a just cause, thought Orochimaru. A human's killing intent, no matter how strong said human may be, is but a drop in an ocean compared to Kachan's killing intent. What do you think would happen if a person was exposed to that kind of pressure on a daily basis? Wouldn't that person be able to develop a higher than normal tolerance to killing intent? Asked the boy rhetorically. Makes sense. I'm embarrassed that I never even considered that possibility. In any case, go and find little Yukumo-chan. She has a little surprise that she's been waiting for a week now to show you. Use your new sensing powers to track her. It will be good practice for your upcoming test, and it will help you to quickly learn the layout of our base, ordered Orochimaru. Test? Asked Naruto. Fukuku, of course Naruto-kun, it is customary for us to test and confirm the success of an experiment by pitting the subject against a powerful opponent in a controlled environment. Be sure to prepare yourself physically and mentally. You only have at most an hour before we begin testing, said Orochimaru. That makes sense. What are the rules? Asked Naruto. No seals or barriers, no weapons, no demon chakra and no genjutsu, everything else is allowed, except for killing. Make sure you don't kill your opponent, he is a very important part of our plans, warned Orochimaru. Hi, I will prepare accordingly, may I be excused now, Orochimaru-sama? Asked Naruto respectfully. Fukuku, can't wait to see little Yukumo-chan. Can you Naruto-kun? She's a lucky one to have a protector with so much potential. Don't mind us Naruto-kun, go along, your dear friend is waiting for you. Oh, and be careful, the others might not take an instant liking to you, they'll want you to prove yourself to them, warned Orochimaru. Hi Orochimaru-sama, replied the blonde, running out of the heavy lab door with barely contained excitement and anticipation. Kabuto, said Orochimaru with a deadly tone, his usual amused expression vacant from his features. How may I help you, Orochimaru-sama? Asked Kabuto a little too cheerfully. That boy, is he trustworthy? Asked the Sannin. Haha. Orochimaru-sama, don't you get it? It isn't about his current worth as an ally, but his potential worth. Yukumo-chan, without Naruto-kun to fuss over her over the last 2 weeks, was forced to make new friends during Naruto-kun's absence. In fact, she, Karen, and Taiya have become really close in the last week and a half or so, you know, being one of the few girls in Oto's shinobi and academy ranks. Fukuku, what a sly dog you are Kabuto-kun, those girls all have horrible pasts. No, rather, all those kids have horrible pasts even at such tender ages. You're counting on Naruto-kun and Yukumo-chan to form powerful bonds with those kids because of their similar pasts, aren't you? Asked Orochimaru, an amused smirk returning to his features. My Orochimaru-sama, you know me too well for my own good, said Kabuto with equal amusement, pushing up his glasses with a trademark smirk hidden behind his hand. Fukuku, very well, we shall see how things develop very soon. I've been thinking though, how exactly did that girl escape Sarutobi-sensei's watch? It couldn't have been easy to get her out, even for you? Asked Orochimaru curiously. You give me too much credit Orochimaru-sama, I'm not that skilled yet you know. In any case, I didn't have to do anything actually, they did everything themselves, all I had to do was guide them to this location, explained Kabuto, taking pride in being the one to put the gobsmacked expression that his master was currently wearing. Don't play games with me Kabuto. You expect me to believe that 2 6-year-old kids could ever be capable of such a feat, no matter how talented they are? Asked Orochimaru menacingly, no longer amused anymore. Haha. You don't understand Orochimaru-sama, this isn't about whether you believe it or not, the situation will not change, simply because you decide not to believe in it, the facts will remain the same regardless, Orochimaru-sama. Said Kabuto with a sinister smirk. Don't patronize me Kabuto. Tell me exactly what happened or become Manda's next meal. Your choice. Hissed Orochimaru impatiently. Well, that would be a terrible fate. Very well, I will tell you. You see, Naruto-kun, for some unknown reason, appears to have come into the possession of one of the Yondaime Hokage Hirshin no Jutsu Kunai, said Kabuto, taking a breath for dramatic effect, taking an Orochimaru's fish-eyed expression with glee. Impossible. He couldn't have, trailed off Orochimaru in disbelief. Haha. Don't be hasty in your conclusions, Orochimaru-sama. Naruto-kun doesn't know that technique. You see, Yukumo-chan was able to set up a powerful genjutsu on her watchers. In fact, it could be said that they were almost constantly under her genjutsu without them even knowing for the better part of a year now. Anyway, the jutsu is an instinct suppressing genjutsu. They could sense Naruto-kun coming behind them somewhat, but their instincts, survival instincts included, were not allowing them to react until it was too late, explained Kabuto. No one would expect 4A and B U-level shinobi to die without a fight unless they came up against an opponent with powerful genjutsu, great speed, or instant transportation like Minato-kun. Naruto-kun using a Hirishin kunai to do the killing gives me the impression that they wanted to make it look like the Yondaime Hokage, or at least someone who knows his technique was responsible for the crime. Demo, Konoha has quality medical shinobi and the best genjutsu users from the Uchiha clan. There is no way they wouldn't have been able to detect any signs of the deceased being under the influence of genjutsu just before they died. It was a good idea, but poorly executed because of their lack of experience, said Orochimaru almost dismissively. Hey, don't you think you're underestimating them just a tad bit too much, Orochimaru-sama? Asked Kabuto casually. No, what would make you think that? Asked Orochimaru curiously. Well, I never did say that the plan ended there. You see, Naruto-kun was able to replace Yakumo-chan's watchers with his shadow doppelgangers. That jutsu, together with Yakumo-chan's genjutsu and knowledge of her watchers' behavior and mannerisms, gave Naruto-kun the ability and information needed to impersonate her observers for just over 2 weeks. By that time that Konoha discovers the bodies, it will have already been too late to successfully conduct a genjutsu test and analysis on the decaying bodies. This in turn means that they have virtually no choice but to assume that the person responsible must have used the Yondaime Hokage's jutsu, or that the culprit was in fact the Yondaime Hokage himself. Ukikuku. What an amazing child. No, I should rather say, what amazing children Naruto-kun and Yakumo-chan are. They are going to make powerful additions to my elite army, Kukuku. Laughed Orochimaru maniacally. You know, Kabuto, you didn't say how exactly it was that Naruto-kun covered his own tracks. I would have thought that Sarutobi-sensei would have paid special attention to Minato's son. He was after all, Konoha's ultimate weapon. Asked Orochimaru. HN, Naruto-kun is still in Konoha, as far as the Hokage and the rest of Konoha are aware that is, replied Kabuto cryptically. Do I need to make you elaborate on that, Kabuto-kun? Said Orochimaru a little too cheerfully, fed up of the boy's elusive manner of answering questions. It might have been amusing to play his little game at the beginning, but now it was just plain annoying. HN, of course not, Orochimaru-sama, that won't be necessary. You see, Naruto-kun's blood clone is still living in Konoha as his double and unaware secret agent. Naruto-kun was somehow able to replicate the Yondaime Hokage's 4-symbol seal and seal away what he said to be 6 taels worth of Yaki inside the blood clone. Furthermore, he was able to recreate the memory blocks that the Sandaime Hokage had placed on him before, thanks to his Ka-chan. He also set up a memory block that would seal away the clone's knowledge of the Kaiba's existence and the knowledge that it was a blood clone and not a real human to begin with. This way, not only was Naruto-kun able to escape without detection, but he also has a sleeper agent in the village in the form of his blood clone for as long as is necessary, said Kabuto. The blood clone is in Uzumaki clan technique. Even the forbidden shadow clone jutsu of Konoha was originally in Uzumaki clan jutsu, and now the boy was able to recreate such an advanced seal and use it effectively to create a perfect double. Something is strange here. How is a 6-year-old boy able to achieve these feats? Wait a second, what am I, stupid? Of course. The Kyuubi was at some point sealed inside 2 powerful Uzumaki women. It would obviously have some knowledge on the Uzumaki clan techniques, thought Orochimaru. Come with me, Kabuto. We have to go and retrieve Naruto-kun's opponent for the examination. You know how troublesome he can be at times, said Orochimaru with Kabuto in tow. 000000000000000. Naruto-kun. Exclaimed Yukumo with excitement, running herself into the blonde's arms. Naruto, caught off guard not only by her mobility, but her strength too, fell flat on his back, with the Kurama clan heiress snuggled on top of him. Yakumo-chan, was all the blonde said, wrapping his arms around the petite girl in a loving hug. Naruto-kun, I'm so glad you're okay, I was so worried. I thought you were never going to wake up. Cried Yukumo with her face buried at the crook of the blonde's neck. You worry too much about me, Yakumo-chan, but I'm glad that you're safe. I was worried sick about you, said Naruto with a kind smile, while brushing the cute little girl's hair away from her face. Really? Asked Yukumo with her best puppy eyes face. I couldn't stop panicking until I confirmed that you were truly safe with my own eyes. Even though I could sense through your chakra that you were okay, I still needed to confirm it with my eyes, said Naruto, his right hand cupping and caressing her face lovingly. Oh, Naruto-kun, sniff, that's so unmanly of you. I never thought you were such a softie, haha. Laughed Yukumo uncontrollably, pressing her index finger into his chest in a teasing gesture. Shut up. I'm not a softie. shouted Naruto, blushing furiously from embarrassment. Haha. Ahahaha. Sure Naruto-kun, I like totally believe you haha. Laughed Yukumo, she couldn't help it, he was so easy to tease sometimes, and besides, he was so cute when he was flustered, her cute little fox. Why you, he'll show you soft. Shouted Naruto before flipping the girl over on her back and then initiating a devastating tickling attack on her vulnerable body parts. Ahahaha. Please hahaha stop. Alright I'm sorry ahahaha. Apologized Yukumo in between a fit of giggles courtesy of her best friend's unrelenting attack on her. Haha. Wo's a softie now huh, Yukumo-chan. Said Naruto, stretching the last syllable of his sentence teasingly. Their fun reunion was halted prematurely by a devastating surprise attack, but Naruto, with his sensing abilities, was able to react just in time, completely avoiding the giant metal club that would have completely crushed them, a huge crater remaining where they used to be. Naruto, from his position standing on the wall with Yukumo in his arms, stared at the giant grotesque figure that was responsible for the attack, amazed by the sheer size and power of the humanoid creature. If it could create such a huge crater from just one swing of that club. It looked like a male figure with a dark green full bodysuit with long hair that covers its entire head and face, also covering its ears and eyes with its mouth sewn shut. The metal club seemed to be carried with its right hand. I can't believe that I let my guard down like that, even if I was just happy to see Yukumo-chan. It was no excuse, if it wasn't for my new sensor abilities, we might have both been dead now, and what on earth is that thing? Thought Naruto. Hey Aya, what the hell are you doing you baka? You almost killed Yukumo-chan. Screamed Karen angrily, angry that one of her closest friends had just attacked her newest friend with the intent to kill for no reason at all. Karen has red eyes, matching hair color, and an unusual hairstyle. Her hair is short, pointy, and unkempt on the right side, while it is long and straight and combed on her left side. She wears brown glasses, and her outfit consists of a lavender uniform common for Orochimaru subordinates, short black shorts, and long black thigh-high stockings with black sandals. Shut the fuck up you fucking slut. That fool was trying to do something strange to her, I was trying to save her from that sick shit-eating cum stain. Replied Taya with equal intensity. She has brown eyes and long untamed and red hair with a black hat at the top with bandages wrapped around the sides. She is wearing a tan tunic with black spandex shorts and standard black shinobi sandals. You stupid bitch. She was in direct line of your attack and was pinned to the floor. There was no way she could have escaped that. Screamed Karen furiously, her face red hot from anger. It almost looked like steam was going to get blown out of her ears. Gee, I'm sure she could have escaped, said Taya casually, not willing to admit her mistake. Arg. I hate you. Said Karen, pointing a shaky finger at her friend. Well, fuck you too you whore. Replied Taya heatedly. So she was aiming to kill me and not Yukumo after all, then, she is the one controlling that thing. Thought Naruto. Did you hear the music just before the attack? I think she is using chakra-enhanced sound waves to control it. Look at the flute in her hand. It is the only tool on her person that is the secret to her technique. I'm sure of it, said the great demoness. I see, in that case, I should be able to eventually predict her attack patterns by studying the chakra and the sound frequencies using my sensor abilities, thought the blonde. You almost killed my reason for existing. I'm going to have to kill you for that, said Naruto coldly. Give it your best shot, dick cheese. Replied the 7-year-old Taya, placing her flute on her lips in preparation for battle. I can only summon one doki at a time with my current chakra reserves, but that shit ain't a problem, I only need one to take care of this shithead. Thought Taya. You have already lost, I already know how to counter your technique. You need chakra to use and direct the sound vibrations and frequencies from the music in your flute in order to gain control of your monster. I, who can sense the chakra frequencies in your jutsu, can never lose to you. I will always know what move you are going to make before you strike, said Naruto nonchalantly, trying to weaken the foul-mouthed girl's resolve. Impossible. Someone else with that kind of ability can't possibly exist. Could he be a sensor type of the same level as Karen? Thought Taya with wide eyes. No. What am I afraid of? I am one of Orochimaru-sama's elite disciples, one of the few chosen to be trained explicitly to become his bodyguards. I can never lose to this trash. Besides, he won't be able to anticipate the initial attacks even with his chakra sensing. He needs to at least have seen the movement at least once before he can anticipate an attack. All I have to do is end the battle with the initial attacks. That's all there is to it. Thought Taya. You'll have to deal with me too then, you won't defeat the both of us, no matter how strong you think you are. Said Karen with determination shining in her eyes. All of you stop it now or I will put you all under the worst genjutsu that you can think of. Shouted Yukumo furiously, everyone gulped nervously at Yukumo's threat, they all knew better than to take her threat lightly. her genjutsus were close to unbreakable. And what made matters worse was that her genjutsu could take physical manifestations because of her ability to confuse the brain and make it believe that the effects in the illusion were really happening to the body. For example, if she were to put you in an illusion where your skin was burning, then your real skin would suffer the real effects as if it were literally on fire. Naruto-kun, these are my new friends, they kept me company while you were asleep. Taya, Karen, this Naruto-kun, has the one I told you guys about, the one that saved me from Konoha, my best friend, explained Yukumo, trying to break the tension between the two parties. Taya and Karen's eyes widened from shock, struggling to believe that they had tried to kill him without even knowing it. They knew almost everything there was to know about him. Yukumo had talked about her Naruto-kun non-stop. They felt like they knew him already. To think that they were about to kill him, or try to kill him. New friends? When did this happen? Asked Naruto curiously. Well, I was lonely and Orochimaru-sama wouldn't allow anyone to see you during your experiment. Taya and Karen tried to cheer me up and we ended up getting close we became friends, answered Yukumo nervously, feeling like she had done something wrong for some reason she couldn't understand. Or maybe she felt like she had betrayed Naruto-kun by having other friends that were not him. I see, were they good to you? Do you think you can trust them? Asked Naruto, speaking about the two girls as if they were not there at all. Hi, I trust them, Naruto-kun, you're not mad at me are you? Asked Yukumo. No, I can never be mad at you, said Naruto with a smile, his deep blue eyes captivating Yukumo so much that she had to avert her eyes from him to hide her embarrassment. Naruto-kun, could you please put me down now? Asked Yukumo shyly. She had just been so happy to see him back and so preoccupied that she hadn't noticed how close he was holding her against his body. It made it worse that he was holding her bridal style against his naked torso. Oh. Gomenasai. Said Naruto hastily, jumping onto the floor and releasing her from his bridal style embrace with great haste, a small red hue forming around his whisker markings. So why don't you properly introduce me to your friends? Asked Naruto, scratching the back of his head to hide his embarrassment. Okay well, the one with the foul mouth is Taya-chan of the North Gate. She is one of Orochimaru-sama's Sound 4 elite trainees, and the one with the glasses is Karen-chan. She is Kabuto-sama's apprentice, said Yukumo. Oh okay, Aheo Taya-chan, Karen-chan, Namek is Uzumaki Naruto, it is nice to meet you. Said Naruto with his hand stretched out for a handshake. Did you say Namek is? But isn't that the name of the fourth Hokage? Are you related to him? Asked Karen with wide eyes. Taya's mouth on her side was hanging agape after that. She didn't know that was the name of the fourth Hokage. Damn, she should have paid more attention on her history lessons. Hi, I am his biological son, said Naruto, shocking the duo even more. Sure, Karen had already figured out that they were related, but she didn't expect them to be father and son. Sugoi. No wonder Yukumo-chan and Kabuto-sensei speak so highly of you. Is it okay if I feel you? Asked Karen with a light blush on her face. Sure, why not, if it will prove to you that I am real, then I don't see the problem, said Naruto, placing Karen's hand on his chest. The girl blushed furiously, not having expected something like that. She had just wanted to feel out his chakra with her mind's Kagura of the eye, not this. At your paws offer you pervert. Shouted Taya, smacking the blonde's hand away with her flute. Hey, I'm not a pervert. Shouted the blonde indignantly. Sure, you could have fooled me, like I didn't see how you were groping Yukumo earlier. Now you're trying to do the same to Karen, I won't allow it. Shouted Taya, pointing at the blonde with her flute. What the hell are you talking about? I wasn't groping anyone, you're starting to sound like a paranoid, insecure and jealous wife. Countered the blonde. Why you? How dare you insult me you shithead. All she asked you was if she could feel your chakra, not your body you cum-stained wanking pervert. Shouted Taya. How was I supposed to know that? Said Naruto, blushing slightly from embarrassment. I don't know, how about asking what she meant like a normal person instead of sticking your head into the gutter? Asked Taya mockingly. Hey shithead. Did you hear me, hey? Shouted Taya, angry at being ignored like that, not realizing that Naruto was having an internal conversation with his inner beast. Hey Ka-chan, I'm going to block our connection for a while, she'll freak out if she senses you without prior knowledge of your existence. Said Naruto. That is a good idea, do it, said Kyuubi with a lazy yawn. Alright thanks, I promise this will not happen again, I will tell them about you, I'm not ashamed of you, I love you, Ka-chan. Said the blonde. A small tight knot formed on the Demona's stomach from the blonde's declaration, with an invisible blush on her cheeks she returned and meant the gesture. I love you too Sachi-kun, replied Kyuubi, feeling a strange but happy feeling in her chest area where her heart should be. Karen-chan, are you okay? Asked Naruto, breaking Karen from her concentration. She blushed a little at the chan suffix, they barely knew each other, and he was already using such an affectionate suffix with her name. Hi, I'm okay, why? Asked Karen. Well, you were making strange faces, at first you seemed happy and content, and then concerned, and after that a little freaked out, and then happy again and so on. Was there something wrong with my chakra? Asked Naruto. Hi, your chakra is strange. It has 3 different tones to it, one bright and warm like the sun itself, and the other 2 both sinister, with one being more sinister than the other. Also, I couldn't go as deep as I wanted to go. It was like something was blocking me away, like you were trying to hide some part of yourself, said Karen. I see, the 3 tones of my chakra represent my normal chakra, the second part that is affected by Kachan's chakra, that is siphoned into my chakra system by Tusan's seal. And the third one must be a result of the implanted Na material, thought Naruto. I knew you couldn't be fucking trusted, what the fuck were you trying hide, hush shithead? Asked Taya, boring her eyes straight through the blonde's head with her intense stare, her face so close to his that their lips were almost touching. Shut up. Naruto-kun doesn't have to tell you anything. Shouted Yukumo. No, it's okay Yukumo-chan, you said that they could be trusted and that they were your friends, I see no need to keep it a secret from them, said Naruto. But did you tell them about yours, Yukumo-chan? Asked Naruto. Hi, replied Yukumo. And did they accept you? Asked Naruto. Hi. Said Yukumo. Then don't worry, they should accept me too, said Naruto. No way. You have the Ido demon too? Asked Taya, pointing a shaky finger at the blonde. No, I have the Kyuubi no Kitsune sealed inside of me by the Yondaime Hokage, said the blonde, shocking the 2 prospective Kunoichi. No way. Your own father sealed a demon inside of you. Is that why you were hated in Konoha? Asked Karen with wide teary eyes. Yes, was all Naruto said. Man, that is terrible, I would have killed my dad if he did something like that to me. Said a male voice from behind the trio. Naruto turned around to see 3 boys that didn't look more than a year or 2 older than him. Nobody asked you, Kidomaru Baka. Shouted Karen at the source of the voice. Gee, like I care what you think, 4 eyes. Said Kidomaru, a dark-skinned, black-haired, and black-eyed 7-year-old looking boy wearing a black sleeveless top and black spandex shorts with a tan tunic over the top that bears a symbol for the sound 4 and a rope belt tied around his waist. He is also wearing arm warmers and has bandages wrapped around his legs with black ninja sandals. The most unique traits about him though are the 2 extra pairs of arms situated on the sides of his torso. I can't kill him, he is already dead. You look like you could be good at taijutsu though, replied the blonde. Actually, I'm more of a long-range type. What made you think I was a taijutsu-based type of fighter though? Asked Kidomaru curiously. It is not that I thought you were a taijutsu type, I was just thinking that with 4 extra limbs, you could create a very powerful and unpredictable taijutsu style. After all, nobody trains or practices to fight against someone with that many arms. It could be a great advantage for you, said Naruto analytically. Hahaha, I like you, I think you and I will get along pretty well. You should hang out with the boys sometime, offered Kidomaru, offering the blonde a handshake with one of his 6 arms. Sure, why not? Replied Naruto with a smile on his face, sealing the deal with a firm handshake. Gee, whatever you do just make sure you don't offer to buy fat shit Jirobo any food or you'll be broke for months. Said Taya. You shouldn't curse so much Taya-chan, it is unbefitting of a lady to speak like that. Chastised Jirobo, a tall chubby 7-year-old boy with brown eyes and an orange-colored mock with orange tufts of hair behind his ears. He is however not just fat as there are signs of muscle mass beneath his chubby appearance and is wearing the black spandex shorts with black shinobi sandals and a tan sleeveless tunic with a purple rope belt tied around his waist. Yes, since you know so much about being a lady, why don't you start acting like one at the dinner table, fatso? And stop fucking using affectionate suffixes with my name. Replied Taya irritably. I'm going to pretend that I didn't hear that and invite our new comrade to come and share a meal with us, how about it, Namikaze-san? Asked Jirobo. Sure, that would be cool, my treatna. Offered Naruto. Sure, why not, replied Jirobo with a sinister glint in his eyes. That won't be necessary, you're the new member of our super squad, why don't you just let us treat you instead, consider it a welcome gesture. Said Seiken hastily, a 7-year-old boy with dark gray hair with one bang that covers his right eye. Seiken seems to be wearing turquoise lipstick and brown eyeliner, making his appearance seem more feminine. He is also wearing a brown tunic with long black wristbands, black skin-tight shorts, and a purple rope belt around his waist with black ninja sandals. The boy is also wearing a dark red bead-like necklace around his neck and has a giant scroll attached to his back. The most peculiar thing about his appearance though is the second head that seems to be sticking out of his upper back. Nah, that's okay, I insist. Said Naruto. What a fool, can't he see that I was trying to save him from Jirobo? Oh well, ain't my problem anymore, at least I tried, thought Seiken. Alright then, your treat it is, said Seiken with an amused smirk. Kukuku. I see you have already made some friends Naruto-kun, you work really fast don't you, said Orochimaru with a hissing serpent-like voice. Just trying to settle into my new home as quickly as possible, Orochimaru-sama, replied Naruto. Unlike the others, he, Yukumo, and Karen were not shocked by his sudden appearance, having already sensed him coming quite a while ago. Kukuku. So it seems Naruto-kun, so it seems, said Orochimaru. Orochimaru-sama. Greeted the sound four simultaneously, each of them dropping down to one knee and bowing their heads in respect for their master. Is it time for the test already? Damn, time flies fast. I didn't even get a chance to warm up, said Naruto, shaking his head dramatically. I'm afraid so Naruto-kun, come, walk with me, ordered Orochimaru, turning around to walk out of the large training ground, not waiting for the blonde to reply. Hi. Saluted Naruto running up behind the snake Sannin. Wait. Is it okay if we can also observe the test, Orochimaru-sama? Asked Yukumo. The snake Sannin stopped for a few seconds to consider it before giving a firm nod in confirmation. Of course, in fact, I insist that you all come and watch, it should be a good show, replied Orochimaru. 00000000000000000. If it's a boy, I won't kill him, if it's a girl, I will kill her. What the hell is wrong with him? Has he gone mad? Thought Naruto. He was inside a large hall that looked like it was some kind of training room or battle area. In the middle of the room was a 4x4 meter square cube, made out of what looked like fiberglass. In the center of the cube was an orange-haired boy that did not look much older than he was, although significantly taller. The boy has spiky orange hair and similar colored eyes. He is a well-built 8-year-old boy, and the only item of clothing on him are black knee-length shorts. It seems like he hasn't noticed my presence yet. Maybe this is some kind of surveillance box, like the ones used for interrogation. He cannot see what is on the outside, but people on the outside can see what is happening inside. It would make sense, given his apparent violent personality, thought Naruto, watching the glass cube sink back into the ground, except this time not taking boy with it. No, I have changed my mind. If it is a girl, I won't kill her. Yes, the boy, I'll kill him if it is a boy. Shouted the boy hysterically with an expression that has the word insanity written all over it. What is your name? Asked Naruto, staring at the boy with a rigid battle-ready posture, realizing the danger he might be in with the boy no longer safely contained. My name is Jugo. Jet booster jump. Screamed the boy now identified as Jugo. Jugo, with incredible speed, launched himself at his next victim, creating 3 jet-like appendages on his back and blasting himself forward at incredible speeds. Jugo, in midair, altered his arm into a piston before blasting a large concentration of chakra from the jet booster attached to his elbow to increase the velocity and power behind his attack. Die. Piston fist. Shouted Jugo, swinging his arm violently at the blonde. Naruto, not having expected an attack of that speed, was unable to dodge in time and received a heavy punch that blasted him into the wall. Ahahaha. Ahahaha. I killed him, I killed the boy. Ahahaha. Laughed Jugo maniacally. Meanwhile in a different room sat 8 individuals watching the battle through an overhead projector seal. The battle arena was full of reinforcement seals, and most importantly, at least for the spectators, surveillance seals. The surveillance seals were linked to the overhead projector seal that projected the battle on the wall in 6 different angles to make sure that they didn't miss a single thing in the battle. Naruto-kun. Cried Yukumo with her hand covering her mouth in shock. And no way, he can't be dead. Said Karen, tears threatening to spill from her eyes too. She hadn't spent that much time with the blonde, but Yukumo had told her so much about him and his painful past over the last 2 weeks that she might as well have known him that well. He was also kind and loving towards his friends from what she had seen of him. Chan, I wouldn't ride off Naruto-kun so soon if I were you Karen-chan, said Kabuto with a trademark upwards push of his glasses, not excluding the smirk etched on his face. What do you mean, Kabuto-sensei? Asked the 6-year-old Karen. Jugo's attack should have caused a lot more damage to the wall than that, just watch, take a closer look, and you'll see what I mean, said Kabuto cryptically. I'm still alive. What is this? These scales on my body. Oh, Orochimaru-sama will be pleased, it seems like I have been able to manifest the scales of the great Samehada, the experiment was a success. Thought Naruto. Jugo stared at the, for lack of a better word, monster in front him. No longer was there any blonde hair or even human skin on his opponent's body, just large thick scales covering everything. Even the top of his head was now turned into spiky scales, though they still resembled the shape of his hair. The deep blue eyes were still visible, and he had what looked like gills on his neck. What happened? Why did my attack lose power? No one has ever successfully blocked my piston fist before. Asked Jugo, the cursed markings spreading even more across his face. His left eye was already monster-looking, with black sclera and golden irises. Your chakra, I ate your chakra from your attack, it was so delicious. I'm going to shave you into pieces. Shouted Naruto, swinging his scale-covered arm against the orange-haired boy's face. Too slow. Destroying axe fist. Shouted Jugo, forming a massive axe on the back of his forearm and intercepting the blonde's attack. Boom. The massive booming shockwave destroyed parts of the arena upon impact, creating a massive crater below the 2 boys. The wall on Naruto's back, where some of his scales had projected into, started cracking from the impact, despite the reinforcement seals placed on them. Ahahaha. You're stronger than others. I'm going to enjoy killing you even more, piston fist. Style 1. screamed Jugo, creating 2 more jet-like appendages on his right elbow. Too slow, said Naruto in a manner not too different from the one Jugo used to mock him just moments ago. Naruto, with quick thinking, channeled as much chakra as he could into his legs and pushed himself off of the wall behind him to gain momentum, delivering a powerful punch on Jugo's torso that sent him sailing into the other side before he could execute his own deadly attack. Naruto absorbed so much chakra from him that all the chakra Jugo had gathered in his pistons disappeared completely. Jugo landed harshly on his back and his body dug a long trench into the ground, such was the power behind the attack. My body has gotten stronger somehow. There is no way the force of my legs should have propelled me with that much speed and strength, and there is no way that I should have been able to withstand the force of his attacks. Even with the scales to protect me, I should have been sent flying, and the pressure on my joints should have been too much to withstand. In any case, this battle is over. There is no way he should be able to fight after that. I took a lot of chakra from him and shaved chunks off of his torso. He's definitely out cold, thought the blonde just before his eyes widened in shock, watching the orange-haired Jugo get up on his feet despite his injuries, albeit with sluggish movements. Haha. Hahaha. Hahaha. I was right, you're much more fun than the others. I am going to enjoy killing you, I'll destroy you, shouted Jugo, completely submitting to his killing tendencies. His skin turned a completely darker shade with black sclera in the eyes and a black stripe running from the middle of his forehead and down the bridge of his nose. A number of cannon-like appendages grew on his back, contributing to his more than intimidating appearance, and the injuries on his torso regenerated rapidly. How can he still have this much chakra after I absorbed so much of it? What kind of monster is he? This form looks too dangerous for my liking. I don't think I can keep up with him in a Taijutsu battle anymore. He was already too fast in his previous form. I don't want to have to see what kind of surprises he has for me in this form. I'll have to change tactics, thought Naruto before going through rapid hand seals. Water element. Exploding water colliding wave, shouted the blonde before spitting out a ridiculous amount of water from his mouth, filling up the whole battle arena to the brim. Naruto's body, now submerged underwater, went through another change. His scales receded back into his body, but only for his body to transform again. His skin turned a darkish blue color, his teeth sharpened and became shark-like, and a relatively long, shark-like tail grew on his back. His face completely turned shark-like and gills formed on his neck and shoulders with shark fins growing at the upper back of his arms, with an even bigger pointed fin growing on his spine. So, this is why the DNA source was referred to as the Great Sharkskin Sword. Interesting, let us see what I can do in this form, thought Naruto. This guy, he also had another transformation level in store. I have no choice, I have to use that technique and end the battle in an instant, otherwise he'll just drown to death, thought Jugo. Jugo, with the intent to kill his foe, manipulated the chakra cannons on his back to face directly towards the location of his opponent, adding even more cannons in the process. This is it, he won't be fast enough to escape this. Even if he absorbs the chakra, he'll still die before he can absorb it all, and even if he dodges it, the wall behind him will be destroyed and the water will leak out. He'll be able to breathe again. Curse seal chakra blast, said Jugo mentally, firing numerous chakra blasts from his cannons to form a devastating technique. I can't afford to get hit by that, thought the blonde, swimming away from the danger at super fast speeds, so much so that Jugo didn't even see him move. Boom. The power behind Jugo's attack was immense, but so was the power of the reinforcement seals protecting the walls of the arena. As a result, the damage to the walls from Jugo's attack was nowhere near the level that he had expected, but the plan was successful nonetheless. A small hole could be seen on the heavily damaged wall where the water was slowly leaking out. I can't believe the wall was strong enough to withstand that, but one more shot will do it. One more shot before I kill this pest, thought Jugo furiously before something hard, fast, and painful knocked him to the side at incredible speed. Jugo instantly noticed how his attack was immediately cancelled upon impact, his chakra disappearing from his cannons. Before he could crash against the far wall on the right, he was knocked to his left again and again and again and again until it got to the point where he just couldn't defend himself at all. He wasn't a bad swimmer, but against this kind of opponent, he might as well have been. He couldn't even follow the guy's movements at all, and not only did the attacks hurt him badly, but his chakra was being devoured very rapidly. The absorption process is harder and slower when I have to suck out the chakra directly from his chakra coils, but still, any normal person should have been out of chakra by now. If I didn't know better, I could have sworn that I was fighting against a Jinchuriki. Nevertheless, I have the advantage here. I'll be knocked out in no time at all, thought Naruto, swimming into the mad boy's back and delivering a devastating chakra-draining headbutt. Kuzo, the water level is dropping too slow. I don't think I can hold on any longer, were Jugo's last thoughts before he passed out from chakra exhaustion, his skin receding back to its normal color and texture. This ominous feeling at the pit of my soul. I have to hurry back home. Something is not right here. Something is horribly wrong. I can feel it, thought Itachi with an uncharacteristic hysterical facial expression, tree jumping with such haste and reckless abandon that some of the thick branches he landed on were breaking down immediately upon contact. Sasuke, Kachan, please be safe, I'm on my way. Thought Itachi just as he landed on the dirt road, running on the straight path towards Konoha with haste. Uchiha clan compound. Hey, Kachan. I'm scared. I don't want to die, I don't want to lose you, Kachan. Whispered a little boy with black hair that has a blue tint and onyx eyes. His bangs hang on both sides of his face to roughly frame his cheeks and is spiky in the back. The boy is wearing a black, long-sleeved shirt with a raised collar and the Uchiha crest on the back with wide arm warmers and bare feet. Tears were freely flowing from his eyes. He knew that the situation was hopeless. His Kachan was already injured and his brother was only set to return from his mission in almost a week. To top it off, the rest of his clan was already dead. There was no one to save them, even if there was someone else from the clan alive. There wasn't much that the little 8-year-old boy believed they could do to save them, only his brother was strong enough to fight on par with that traitor, even he knew that. SHHH, everything will be okay Sasuke-chan, mommy will protect you from harm, sniff, all we have to do is get to the Hokage and report what happened, until then, sniff, Kachan won't let anything happen to you, I promise, trailed off Mikoto, stopping dead on her tracks, her eyes wide from pure unadulterated shock. Her sudden halt caused her son, whom she had been dragging along to crash onto her behind, although she barely noticed that, her mind clouded with fear and anxiety. How did he get there without me noticing? I knew he was very good with the Shushin no Jutsu, but this is ridiculous. There was no sound at all, no chakra trail to track, and my Sharingan didn't detect his presence until he was already standing before me. Is he really using a Shunshin? Or is he using some kind of transportation jutsu? Thought Mikoto fearfully, she was scared, she couldn't even remember a time when she was so frightened, not even on her first official mission as a genin was she so scared. She was not scared for herself though, but for her children. If she died here, then who would protect Sasuke-chan from this man? Even if Sasuke lived, she didn't want him to grow up alone without any parents. She knew how horrible the life of an orphan could be, not from her own experiences, but she had seen it firsthand from her friend Kushina and her husband, and even their son. Kushina, Minato, I am so sorry, I failed you as a friend haven't I? What have I been doing all this time? What have I done to protect your child, to honor your sacrifice? I failed your son, but I won't fail my own son too. Sniff, I will live, I will survive this curse and protect my children, and then I will adopt your son and take him as my own, I won't allow my family, our family to perish. I promise. Shouted Mikoto with a fierce determination, blazing through rapid hand seals, the three tamo on each of her eyes spinning menacingly. Hey Kachan, who is she talking to, thought Sasuke, watching his mother blaze through hand seals that he could barely see in shock. He never knew his mother was a shinobi too, had always thought that she had just taken care of them as a loving mother forever. Stupid really, but still, it always felt like that to him. Yes, that's it. I like the look you have in your eyes, that's what I wanted to see, that look of hope, determination, and self-belief. I like it, and I like it even better when I see the look of despair, shame, and fear that follows when I have completely crushed all of that hope and determination, said Shisui with a deadly stare in his Sharingan eyes. He was wearing his regular, full A.N.B.U. outfit with a tanto strapped on his back and the usual high-collared blue, short-sleeved top with a wide armor over the top, concealing the clan symbol on his back. Fire element. Grand fireball technique. Screamed Mikoto, placing her right hand over her mouth and blowing a large violent ball of fire through her funnel-shaped hand. Sasuke subconsciously noted how big his mother's fireball was compared to the one that he had displayed for his father. Nice try, but a technique that slow will never hit me. I am however impressed by the sheer size of it. Not even Itachi has been able to make one that size, said Shisui from behind Mikoto and Sasuke, preparing to remove his aunt's head from her shoulders. Impossible. How did he get there so fast? How did he dodge a direct attack of that size so fast? This isn't real, it has to be a dream, it has to. Thought Sasuke hysterically. I am so pathetic, I can't even protect myself, never mind my family, Sasuke-kun, Itachi-kun, I'm so sorry. Thought Mikoto, resigning herself to her impending death. Clang. The loud clanging sound echoed in the deathly silence, shocking all three other parties present. Mikoto, who had closed her eyes, snapped them open in silent shock. It was too good to believe, but that chakra. It can't be, it's what are you doing here Itachi? You're only supposed to come back in 4 days from your mission. Asked Shisui in slight shock, breaking Mikoto from her thoughts and confirming what she already had suspected. Shisui, I'm only going to ask this once, and you better have a good explanation. Why does it look like you were about to kill my mother and brother? Asked Itachi, his eyes were almost dead, with no emotion at all, but everyone present could feel the intensity of the fury and killing intent rolling off of him in waves. Then, Nai-san. stuttered Sasuke with wide eyes, shocked but yet more than ever happy to see his big brother. "Ah-chan, take Sasuke with you and find a safe spot to hide, I'll take care of this," ordered Itachi authoritatively with a no-nonsense kind of tone. "Hi Sachi-kun, arigato and Itachi-kun," said Mikoto. "What is it?" asked Itachi. "Be careful and make sure you kill him, I don't want to lose you, I love you," said Mikoto with tears in her eyes. "I will kill him, I promise, and I love you too, now go," said Itachi, not daring to even turn and look at her one last time, that would be a bad mistake and everyone knew it. "Hi, let's go Sasuke-chan," shouted Mikoto, grabbing Sasuke by his tiny right hand and dragging him along the dirt road. "I can kill you now that there is no one to interfere, Amaterasu," said Itachi, the Tamo in his right Sharingan eye instantly connected to form a tri-pronged shuriken, launching black flames in an attempt to incinerate his opponent from point-blank range. Shushui, in an inhuman feat of reflex, skill, and speed, dodged the technique with an instant shunsen, appearing on the younger prodigy's left-hand side in order to blindside his dangerous right eye and aiming a slash towards his midsection. Itachi was barely able to keep up with his best friend, or rather, former best friend and first cousin. In fact, he wasn't able to keep up at all. The only reason he was able to protect himself being due to the arm guard on his left arm, otherwise he would never have been quick enough to swing his sword around to parry the attack. Fling. "You've grown quite well Itachi, and I see you have mastered the use of the Manjiko Sharingan that I gave to you," said Shishui with a cruel smirk on his face, pushing his blade harder against his younger cousin. "What kind of fool do you take me for? I gained this power so that I can never lose a loved one again. I gained this power in order to protect my family and loved ones. This has nothing to do with you," said Itachi, pushing back against the 16-year-old homicidal prodigy with the arm guard on his left hand and swinging his right arm over the top, aiming a vertical slash on Shishui's collarbone. Shishui, quickly realizing the danger, shunshined again out of Itachi's reach, stopping not more than 10 meters in front of his opponent. Overpowering him is impossible it seems, his shunshin and reaction time are just too fast. Not only that, but he is also somehow able to bypass all the side effects of the Shunshin no Jutsu. He doesn't leave a chakra tail, he doesn't have a chakra build-up phase before initiating the jutsu, and his technique is silent, leaving no sound trails either. It would however have been just fine if that was all there was to it, but no, that isn't all there is to it, far from it. His technique is at least 2 times faster than any Shunshin I have ever heard of, and he has mastered the Sharingan visual prowess to the point that he doesn't even suffer from the disorientation that a person is subjected to after using Shunshin no Jutsu. No, mastering his Sharingan has nothing to do with it. Many others have mastered the Sharingan. His eyes are just special, a 1 in a million eye that surpasses the visual propensity of all others. How am I supposed to take down someone like that, someone who can't be touched? Thought Itachi before his eyes widened in realization. In Jutsu, that is the only way to beat him, but this is the best Jinjutsu user the Uchiha clan has ever had since Uchiha Izuna. Can he really be beaten with a Jinjutsu? Thought Itachi, a feeling of doubt creeping its way into the surface of his consciousness. What's wrong Itachi, is this really the best you can do? I'm very disappointed in you, I had higher hopes for you, I even killed your girlfriend just so that you can have those eyes, and this is all you have done with the gift that I have given to you, really now? Asked Shishui mockingly. What are you talking about? Misaki died of a rare virus that flushed her chakra and turned it into a poison against her body. How could you have killed her? I saw her die in front of my eyes. Asked Itachi in shock and anger, unable to allow himself to believe in such a thing. HN, ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Well, let us just say that I have my sources, who have very knowledgeable sources of their own, sources that consider a child's play to replicate that level of a virus in a form where it can be injected directly into the bloodstream. You should be grateful. I had to use Kodo Amatsukami on Dr. Yakushi to get him to inject her during a checkup she was scheduled for. That was 2 years ago. I won't be able to use that technique for another 8 years now. This is a sacrifice I made just so that I could give you those eyes. Now stop being an ungrateful brat and thank me already. If you apologize, I might just let you live, you know. Ahahaha. Laughed Shishui maniacally with what could and can only be considered an insane expression on his face. You? Whispered Itachi, his bangs covering his face darkly. Speak up, I can't hear you, I want to hear you apologize loud and clearly. Shouted Shishui. Why, you bastard. I know why you killed the clan, I'm not stupid you know. I knew you were a double agent all this time, I knew the clan wanted to attack the village, and I know about how unfair our clan has been treated, and I also know that the solo mission I was sent on was in order to get me out of the village, so that you may be able to slaughter the clan with success. I know all of this, it was easy to see with these eyes of mine, trailed off Itachi, leaving Shishui fish-eyed with his jaw hanging agape, shocked that Itachi had seen right through his act. Itachi, you, but to go this far. shouted Itachi, cutting off Shisui mid-sentence. Ah-chan, Sasuke, and Misaki, they're all innocent, they knew nothing of the planned rebellion, they were not involved, how dare you involve them in this, how dare you kill my Misaki, he'll kill you. Shouted Itachi uncharacteristically, a gleam of insanity creeping into his eyes, the tamo in his left eye were next to transform into a shuriken shape. I'll pay for this. Tsukiyomi. Shouted Itachi hysterically. Shisui didn't know what had happened, 1 second he was standing a few meters from his rival, and the next thing he knew he was tied down to a cross in a strange world with a red moon in the dark sky, also, everything seemed to be in black and white. This is the world of Tsukiyomi, in this world, I am a god itself, I control everything in here, even the time and space, this jutsu can't be dispelled, hence, for the next 72 hours, I will pass judgment unto you for all your sins and transgressions, this is for Misaki, and this is for trying to kill my precious Kachan and Itado, 71 hours 59 minutes and 59 seconds, 71 hours 59 minutes and 58 seconds, said Itachi, proceeding to stab his opponent in many places around his torso, adding a clone of himself after each stab to help him. Arg. Gwa. Aa. Cried Shisui in pain, feeling the worst kind of pain he had ever felt in his life. Some of the stab wounds were not meant to be survived, and some of them should have exceeded his pain threshold and put him in a coma, but neither that nor death seemed to be possible in this world, forcing him to endure what his brain would not have otherwise allowed him to. How does it feel, huh? How does it feel when you're the one at the receiving end of the pain, huh, Shisui Nai? Asked Itachi in mad elation, somehow feeling overjoyed by his actions. Maybe this was what they meant when they talked about the bittersweetness of vengeance. The torture session carried on like that for almost 3 days. What? Please end it, just end it already. I can't take any more of this. Cried Shisui, the bangs of his hair hanging down over his face. Yes, I believe we have come to the end of your torture education. I will ruthlessly kill you now without remorse like the lowly scum that you are, said one of the many Itachi clones in the crowd, unsheathing his tanto and preparing to remove the Jinjutsu prodigy's head. I wouldn't do that if I were you, Itachi-kun. Said a voice strangely familiar from behind the clone, and all the others turned around to see what was going on, only for all their eyes to widen in shock. There, a few feet behind them stood a healthy Uchiha Shisui looking no different than he did before they captured him in the Tsukiyomi, except for one difference. His left eye had taken a Manjiko Sharingan form. Why, you? How did you get there? Asked the clone simultaneously. What are you talking about? I've been here the whole time, replied Shisui nonchalantly. Nani? If you were there then who have we been? Asked the clone simultaneously. Haha. The person you have been torturing all this time is Uchiha Itachi. Replied Shisui with a cruel smirk on his face. The clones, all in shock, simultaneously whooped their heads around, only to stare in shock at the unbelievable truth of Shishui's words. There on the cross, with numerous stab wounds on his body was Uchiha Itachi, impaled on the cross helplessly. Hahaha. Itachi, you must be no doubt wondering what on earth is happening around you. Well, I'll do you a favor and explain it to you. This is the second power of my ocular powers, the power born of my left eye, Sakanate. With this Jinjutsu I can collapse whatever world I'm in and create an reversed and inverted world, where everything is the opposite of what it is supposed to be. In this world, left is right, up is down, front is back, and Shisui on the cross is actually Itachi on the cross. Everything is inverted. I must command you on such a powerful Jinjutsu Itachi-kun. Tsukiyomi really is an amazing Jinjutsu. I would never have been able to break it until too much damage had been done already. To think that you were able to force me to resort to this is a testament of your growth and skill. You should be proud of yourself, said Shisui in a condensing tone, even though he was complimenting his friend-turned-foe. He created his own world inside my Tsukiyomi. How is something like that even possible? I can't believe I was tricked into torturing myself for almost 3 days, to think that I was the one screaming in pain all this time, how pathetic, thought Itachi. 3, 2, 1. 72 hours ended shortly after Itachi's latest thoughts, and the two combatants found themselves back once again in the real world. Itachi's left eye was bleeding profusely, so much so that the blood was trickling down on the ground in front of him, and his breaths were short and haggard, a sign of an exhausted and severely injured person. Not only that, but his legs were shaking and his arms trembling. It was taking him every reserve of his willpower just to remain standing, much less fight against an S-class homicidal criminal. Heh, you look like you're going to die on your feet, Itachi. You know, I didn't want to have to kill you. I wanted to leave you alive as the sole surviving Uchiha. I wanted you to hate me with all of your being, and I wanted to make your goal to be revenge against me. This way, you could one day kill me and become the hero of Konoha that defeated the despicable and unforgivable criminal and scourge of the village. I wanted you to keep the flame burning, rebuild the Uchiha clan as the loyal and proud shinobi clan of Konoha, and I wanted you to break the barrier between our clan and the village and become the first Uchiha Hokage. I did everything I did with this goal in mind, but now that I know just how much of the truth you know, I'm going to have to kill you and let Sasuke live instead. He was my backup plan after all," explained Shisui. I won't let you, cough cough, get your hands on him," said Itachi, coughing up globs of blood from his mouth. "Well see," was all Shisui said, disappearing from Itachi's view and appearing on his right side in an instant with his sword poised to stab him under his arm on his kidney. Itachi quickly tried to parry the attack, but to his great shock and Shishui's amusement, instead felt something extremely hot piercing him through his left shoulder from behind. Itachi looked to his left side only to his amazement, instead of Shishui's tanto, as he expected, to be piercing his shoulder, was what looked like a bright red sword made out of chakra. This is fire-natured chakra that has been concentrated and solidified into this form with shape manipulation. But I have never heard of such a level of combining shape and nature manipulation. There aren't even any flames of fire surrounding the sword, it just looks like red chakra, yet I can tell with my eyes that this is fire manipulation. Shisui, just what kind of training have you been doing? You defy everything that I have been taught and discovered about ninjutsu, just what are you? Wondered Itachi. Fire style. Saber. This is a jutsu of my own creation. This jutsu condenses and concentrates fire-natured chakra into this sword shape, causing chakra vibrations that exponentially increase the penetrating and incinerating power of my fire techniques to a level of my own. Itachi, this sword is hotter than the sun itself and will pierce anything that I wish to destroy. You have no chance of winning, give up," said Shisui arrogantly. "HN, did you know that the first thing you taught me was to never underestimate my opponents, no matter how much I know about them?" asked Itachi with a small smile on his face, his body shimmering slightly and even becoming intangible before completely disappearing. "Isaka Magatama," whispered Itachi from a small distance behind Shisui, launching a shuriken-shaped energy made up of 3 Magatama connected together by a small string, causing the jutsu to spin rapidly like a shuriken at great speeds. Boom. The technique crashed on the ground and exploded upon impact, creating a loud booming sound that left a giant crater on the ground. When the dust and debris settled down, Itachi was able to see a significant splat of blood on the ground. "It's over, I can't believe it, this is too good to be true," thought Itachi with a tired smile on his face. "What's with a smug expression, Itachi, you look like someone that has just won a difficult battle," asked Shisui, who was now standing behind his opponent, staring with an impressed expression on his face at the spiritual entity that Itachi had been able to manifest around his body. "So this is the third power of your Mangekyou Sharingan, Susanoo, impressive," Itachi thought. Shisui. How?" asked Itachi, not really that surprised that his opponent was still alive. It had been too good to be true anyway if you asked him. "I told you before, in my world, front is back, up is down, and left is right." Shisui in front of Itachi is Shisui behind Itachi, but more importantly, that illusionary technique you used to trick me, that was Uchiha Izuna-sama's forbidden kenjutsu, wasn't it? A powerful illusionary ninjutsu that distorts the time and space itself, a clone technique that can even fool the best sensor-type shinobi. "Impressive that you have been able to learn such a technique, was that your trump card for defeating me?" asked Shisui passively, trying to play off the pain on his left arm that was bleeding profusely. "I don't have to explain anything to you, you can't do anything to me, all your jutsu have become useless before my eyes, nothing can penetrate my Susanoo." "Gwa," grunted Itachi, cut off mid-sentence by a sharp and burning pain in his right shoulder this time. "I thought I already told you, my fire style. Saber's incinerating power will cut through anything like a knife through butter, Susanoo included," said Shisui with his right arm extended forward, a red chakra emanating from his hand. "This shouldn't be possible, how could his jutsu be able to penetrate even my fully formed Susanoo?" thought Itachi to himself before falling flat on his face, the spiritual warrior that had formed around his body shimmering and eventually disappearing a few seconds later. "This is the end of the line, Itachi, for what it's worth, I'm sorry," apologized Shisui with a pained expression on his face that he was trying to hide. 8 trigrams. Double mountain crushing vacuum palms," shouted a rough and mature voice. Shisui, who was not expecting such an attack, found himself at the receiving end of a ridiculously powerful and wide area attack. He felt like his ribcage had just been shattered into pieces. If he hadn't channeled so much chakra around his body for protection, he would have still died. The only reason he wasn't was because he had managed to avoid most of the first air palm and completely avoided the second with his super fast shunshin. "What took you so long, cough, cough, Hiashi-san?" asked Itachi from his position on the ground, just barely able to lift up his head to gaze at the Hyuga clan head. "I apologize for my tardiness, Itachi-kun. To be honest, I wasn't sure what to make of your request, it sounded strange and unbelievable, But nevertheless rest assured that I will take care of the enemy. I know exactly why you chose me. I'm the one with the best counter abilities to Shisha's techniques, the only one who can defeat him, said Hyuga Hiashi, a man with long black hair and featureless wide eyes like all members of his clan wearing very traditional, loose-fitting robes with a cloak and a stern, stoic expression chiseled on his face. Large invisible veins were protruding on his face around his eyes, contributing to his already intimidating physical appearance. What Shishui found most peculiar about his appearance the most though was the black crow situated on the man's right. That crow on his shoulder, there is no doubt about it, that's one of Idachi's crow summons. He must have sent it ahead to get help before he came to do battle against me, but why did he not go to inform the A and B, you are the Hokage, does he really not trust the higher-ups that much? The only reason I can think of, besides the fact that he chose the perfect opponent for me, is that he wanted someone from another clan to witness this in order to ensure his and his family's protection. After all, the Hokage won't order the complete annihilation of a clan in front of another clan head. The clans would desert the village if they ever found out. Damn you Itachi. Just how far ahead did you plan for this? Thought Shishui angrily. You are injured and half exhausted already. As a member of the noble Hyuga clan, I would have rather fought you at your full strength, but as a shinobi of the Hidden Leaf village, it matter not, I will kill you right here and now for your transgressions, Ichiha Shishui, said Hiashi, adopting the traditional Hyuga initial battle stance. The crow on his shoulder dispelled itself in a puff of smoke, having completed its mission and not wanting to be caught in the crossfire. Well, see about that, replied Shishui ominously. Suddenly, the atmosphere became thick and heavy with the immense killing intent the two foes were directing at each other, staring at each other with fierce determination, their respective dijutsus never looking any more menacing than they did in that instant. A heavy breeze picked up all of a sudden, as if to encourage the soon-to-be bloodshed that was about to ensure. I've already expended almost half of my chakra, and my left arm has ceased functioning while he is fresh and ready for battle. Moreover, this is the most powerful member of the Hyuga clan, a clan with strength and ocular prowess that rivals our own, a very unfavorable situation. Demo. To put someone in a jinjutsu, one has to transfer their chakra to their opponent's chakra system, and then in turn use that chakra to manipulate the victim's senses of observation, hearing, smell, taste, and touch by manipulating their nervous system. But, that method does not work so well against a Byakugan master, who has the ultimate visual perception of chakra. Furthermore, our clan's chakra manipulating abilities, especially with regards to expelling chakra from our bodies, make it that much easier for us to get rid of the foreign chakra in our system. You get it right. You don't have a chance against me, it'll give you one more chance to forfeit and turn yourself in, said Hiashi with a touch of arrogance. HN, perhaps you are right, indeed a master Byakugan user such as yourself will be able to see through and dispel my jinjutsu with ease. Demo, that does not mean that you are immune to jinjutsu, you can still be affected by my jutsu, even if only for a split second, that is more than enough for me to finish the battle, replied Shishui. In that instant, his left eye reverted back to his Manjiko form before he disappeared in a silent shunshin. Shishui quickly appeared on Hiashi's right-hand side with a tanto in his right hand, poised to stab his opponent through the side and through his kidney. But Hiashi reacted too fast for his young foe, twisting around quickly with a horizontal slash of his chakra-covered hand. Your teleportation speed is the best, but as the supreme master of the Hyuga's Taijutsu style, my strike rate and speed are unrivaled. Now die you lowly, trailed off Hiashi, watching in silent shock as his hand just phased through his opponent. Behind you Hiashi-san, and it's over, said Shishui from behind the Hyuga clan head, attempting a decapitating slash on Hiashi's neck only for his eyes to widen in shock when chakra barrier deflected his tanto to the side. A jinjutsu that creates an inverted world where everything is the opposite of what it appears to be, an interesting and no doubt powerful jutsu indeed. Demo, did you really believe that you could sneak up on someone who has a 360-degree line of vision? Asked Hiashi with an uncharacteristic sinister smirk on his face. What is this chakra? Thought Shishui to himself before his eyes widened even more, if that was even possible. Chakra that is strong and solid enough to not only be manifested outside of the body in its purest form, but also enough so that it can redirect even a strong weapon like a tanto. Impossible, this is. You figured it out. But too late. Kaiten, shouted Hiashi, spinning around so fast that the chakra shroud around him, with the help of shape manipulation, turned into a giant spinning dome of blue chakra. Shishui was not fast enough to completely avoid the jutsu from such a close range, more so because of the sheer size of the jutsu. Shishui, backwards at rapid speeds, and crashing into and through some of the surrounding buildings of the Uchiha clan, could not help but wonder how someone can create a jutsu of that size and magnitude with raw chakra alone. That sphere must have been at least 2.5 times bigger than any he had ever seen before. If your opponent is too fast and elusive, then destroy him with an instant and wide area counterattack. No matter how fast you are, there is only so much that a human can do as long as they rely on movement. Only an instant transportation technique like the one used by the Fourth Lord could have been able to avoid that attack within my range, said Hiashi without a shred of emotion, which was truly the complete opposite of what he was actually feeling. There was absolutely no better high than fighting and being close to defeating what was currently the strongest member of his clan's arch-rival clan. Cough, Hiashi, cough. San, is it over? Asked Itachi, who had silently managed to move himself away from the immediate battle scene, now leaning tiredly against the wall of an abandoned building close by. No, that won't have been enough to kill him. His chakra system is still working relatively fine, and he is getting up. It would appear that he was still able to avoid most of my attack. I was only able to crack a few of his ribs. What an elusive guy, replied Hiashi. I see, cough, him losing a lot of blood. Do you think you could, cough, end it quickly? Asked Itachi. Brace yourself, Hess coming back, in your weakened condition, he might try to use you as a hostage, make sure that doesn't happen, ordered Hiashi. Hi, replied Itachi. Laughed Shishui manically, limping out of the gaping hole in one of the buildings that he had crashed against. What do you have to laugh at? You can't hide anything from these eyes of mine. Do you really think that there is anything you can do in your physical condition? Asked Hiashi with narrowed eyes. Do you fools honestly think that you are the only ones that know how to plan ahead? My goal is to exterminate the Uchiha clan, and it shall be done. Shouted Shishui with an insane facial expression. Planned ahead? What are you talking about? Asked Itachi nervously, a sinking feeling eating at the bottom of his stomach. Before I attacked the clan, I created a shadow clone and had it hide its presence until a good opportunity presented itself. This opportunity presented itself when you allowed Aunt Mikoto and Sasuke-kun to be separated from you, because the clone has only one order to fulfill before the end of its existence, to eliminate Uchiha Mikoto and Uchiha Sasuke. Explained Shishui with a mad smirk on his face. Idachi's eyes widened in shock and despair, his eyes on the verge of tears and his lower lip quivering. His life flashed back right in front of his eyes. All the times that his mother took care of him when he hurt himself during training, all the times he played with and taught Sasuke some shuriken techniques, his mother's loving smile, and his brother's look of admiration when he made it into the A, N, B, U squads, and then lastly, an image of his two remaining loved ones lying face first on the ground with large pools of blood beneath them flashed on his mind, a demonized face of Shishui hanging above the image, laughing madly at his predicament. Itachi, northeast 3 miles away, hurry up, the clone hasn't found them yet. Snap out of it, boy. Shouted Hiashi, the veins around his eyes enlarging even more in concentration. Itachi was immediately broken from his self-loathing and disappeared in a quick burst of speed without even replying. Hiashi. Damn you and those eyes. Thought Shishui angrily. In his current condition, even a clone might be too much trouble for him. I didn't want to have to use this technique, but you leave me no choice. I have to end this quickly, so that I can help Itachi. Be proud of yourself, Shishui. You are the first person to witness the secret Hyuga technique, said Hiashi, taking a strange stance. Similar but significantly different to the 8 trigram 64 palms. That stance, do you really think I will allow you to engage me in a taijutsu battle? Earlier, you said that my teleportation speed was useless if my strike rate was slower than yours. Well, it works both ways. Your strike speed is useless when I can simply run away with my teleportation speed, retorted Shishui. Do not be mistaken, this is not a taijutsu attack, this is a secret Hyuga clan ninjutsu. Replied Hiashi, his body emitting lightning transmissions from head to toe. 8 trigrams. 256, by Akurai shots. Said Hiashi, pointing his index and middle fingers together and curling the rest of the fingers into his hand. The Hyuga clan head was able to shoot a great number of lightning bolts from his fingertips at hypersonic speeds, all aimed towards his opponent with the intent to kill. Shishu tried his best to dodge as many as he could with his super speed, but it wasn't enough. Not only were the lightning bolts too fast, but there were just too many of them to dodge. Wah. At this rate, the only thing I can manage is to avoid getting damage in my vital areas, but I can't stop all of them from hitting me. I can't believe this guy had such a jutsu up his sleeve. Has the Hyuga clan really been this strong all this time? Thought Shishui, trying to resist the pain of having his arms and shoulders punctured right through like paper. Heck, some of the bolts were penetrating even 5 and 6 buildings as far as he could count. Even the chakra shroud he was maintaining around his body was rendered useless. 128 shots, 256 shots. Shouted Hiashi. I can't believe it, Hess getting even faster the higher the number of shots he throws. I will die if I don't do something about this. There's no way around it. I will have to use that jutsu. To think that someone not even of Uchiha descent could force me to use the third power of my eyes. Ridiculous. though Shishui, closing his eyes only for a split second and then opening them with both of his eyes in Manjiku form. The large vacuum-like portal appeared out of thin air just as Shishui was about to use his third power, sucking in all of the lightning bolts that Hiashi had directed towards the homicidal Uchiha. You don't have enough chakra left to use that jutsu, Shishui. What would be the point of protecting yourself from your enemy's jutsu only to die from chakra exhaustion afterwards? Come, there is nothing left for you here. Said a dark and sinister voice from inside the space-time technique. Shishui, not given a chance to protest, was also sucked into the vacuum after all the lightning bolts were disposed of. Who are what are you? Sputtered Hiashi uncharacteristically. My name shall be revealed to you at a later time, but if you must know, I am Shishui's mentor. I'm impressed and surprised that you were able to defeat Shishui. You remind me of the founder of your clan, Hyuga Seiko. You have the same look he used to have, his blood is strongly manifest in you, replied the mysterious voice from the portal. Hyuga Seiko? You speak of him as if you knew him personally, but that would mean that you're impossible. Shouted Hasahi with a shake of the head. My power is vast and limitless, nothing is impossible to me. We shall meet again in the future, you will have your rematch with Shishui when we come back to destroy this village, count on it, replied the strange voice, trailing off as the portal disappeared from the space. What on Camus earth was that? And that chakra, I've never felt anything like that before, thought Hiashi. My hands are shaking and my body is trembling. Was his presence really that powerful, to leave me feeling like this even after he was gone? More importantly, who was that and what was his relation to Shishui besides being a mentor? Was he another Uchiha? No. There has never been a rogue Uchiha shinobi since Uchiha Madara and Hess dead. I will have to think about this later, I have to go and help Itachi. Thought Hiashi, disappearing with a leaf shunshin. So, how can I help you today, Karen-chan? I was under the impression that today was supposed to be your break from training, or was there something that I misunderstood about our schedule? Asked Kabuto, pushing up his glasses into position with the tip of his forefinger, with a trademark smirk engraved on his facial features. They were in one of the many lab rooms in the main base of Odo. This is where Karen had known that her sensei would be, experimenting with Jugo's cursed Na in order to improve on Orochimaru's cursed seal. They needed to finish the project before the beginning of the next year, that was their target, the Sound 4's lives depended on it. If they didn't manage to reduce the death rate and manage to improve the subject's mental control post-survival of the cursed seal implant, then they might as well have signed the death warrants for their comrades, something that was not an option to both of them, but for different reasons. Kabuto didn't want to lose the Sound 4 because they were key figures in Orochimaru-sama's plans and were even potential hosts for his master, whereas Karen on the other hand didn't want to lose them because they were her dear friends. And she even considered them family. Naruto and Yukumo's bond had influenced the youth of Odo a great deal since they arrived. Never before had any faction in Odo been so united. Things had changed ever since those two arrived almost 2 years ago. Even Jugo of the Scales was now a part of the official forces. Yukumo and Naruto had made short work of that, a simple, according to them, combination of Naruto-kun's sealing techniques and Yukumo-chan's mind barriers was apparently more than enough to lock away Jugo's alter ego. Even when he went full curse mode, sure, the guy became much more sadistic and violent when he went curse mode, but without the alter ego to take over his consciousness, he still retained the ability to reason, strategize, and recognize comrades during battle. Karen supposed she shouldn't have been surprised that those two were able to help Jugo. After all, they were in similar situations to him, with Yukumo-chan's Ido demon and Naruto-kun's Bijuu. They could easily be considered to have once been in similar situations to Jugo. They understood him most and knew best how to help him. Naruto and Jugo had been like brothers ever since then, commonly referred to and recognized as the monster brothers of Odo. Ikumo's situation was strange and intriguing to Karen's scientific mind. Apparently, the Ido demon wasn't as evil as everyone had thought it to be. Okay, maybe it was just as evil as everyone thought it was, but it had no ill intentions towards Ikumo whatsoever, and in fact loved her so much apparently. Everything it had done was done in order to protect its master. Well, according to its own twisted sense, it had killed Yukumo's parents because it recognized them as the source of her pain. Her parents had put so much pressure on her at such a young age to alone shoulder the burden of securing the clan's future as a shinobi clan, and then, when Kurenai gave up on her because of her physical condition, they had, instead of encouraging her and believing in her, also basically told her that they didn't believe in her anymore and that she should try and take up another career. Sure, they hadn't said it like that and had meant no ill will to her, but the effect was nevertheless the same. Ikumo had been hurt and devastated, and Ido had reasoned that getting rid of her source of pain would make things better, and so killed her parents. Ido had also planned to follow up by killing Kurenai and the Hokage for hurting her Yukumo-chan, but had been sealed before she could do that. Nevertheless, Yukumo now had a good understanding with Ido and even considered her as a mother figure, although the roles were reversed, with Yukumo being the one that carried the burden of teaching Ido what was okay to do and what wasn't, what was right or wrong, and who she could help her kill and cold kill. You see I need you to help me with something really important, Kabuto-sensei. It's for my Kunoichi training, replied Karen, trying to suppress her nerves as much as possible. Oh, well, you know I'm always willing to help you, Karen-chan. You are after all my prized student. Go on, ask me anything and I will do it if it is within my capabilities, of course, said the 12-year-old medical shinobi prodigy. Damn you, Karen, what are you so scared of? Sensei may be a psychotic mad scientist, but has been a lot kinder since he became friends with Naruto-kun. Okay, maybe not kind exactly, but still, he seems much less insane and less cruel, thought Karen. You see, I was having this talk with Naruto-kun before he left for his mission, and you see, Naruto-kun said that there was something special about me. Kabuto-sensei, could you please help me discover all the hidden secrets of my body? I know you are the only one that knows the human body well enough to do it right, please sensei. Pleaded Karen desperately, her voice rising accidentally at the end. Kabuto's eyes widened in shock and, what was that fear and anxiety? He couldn't believe what the seemingly sweet and innocent little girl had just asked of him. It couldn't be really happening, could it? She couldn't be asking what he thought she was asking, could she? Either then the fact that she was too young for such things, heck even he was barely old enough to do such things, what more for an 8-year-old little girl, but more importantly, wasn't she supposed to be infatuated with Naruto-kun? Everyone who knew anything in Odo knew that much. She never bothered to make it a secret. Okay, well she did, but the attempt was so lame and unconvincing, only a fool wouldn't see through that. No way. This isn't possible. I must have missed something. I misinterpreted her words somehow. Yes, this is the ninja world, nothing is ever as it seems. Thought Kabuto, trying to convince himself despite the situation seemingly having nothing to do with the ninja world or ninja arts. You Karen-chan, could you please tell me what exactly you and Naruto-kun talked about? Perhaps I might gain a better understanding of the situation and be able to help you be better, said Kabuto nervously, although Karen remained oblivious to his discomfort, too caught up in her own thoughts. I understand, replied Karen with a light blush on her cheeks. Flashback no jutsu. Naruto-kun, when are you going to take me on date, huh? I know you want to, stop denying yourself the happiness that you deserve, that we both deserve. Heard Karen, her arm tightly wrapped around Naruto's own with her head resting on his shoulder. They were walking together in the dark corridors of Odo's underground main base. Naruto was on his way to meet up with his team for their first S-rank mission, and Karen had made sure to intercept him before he got there so that she could get the alone time with Naruto-kun that Yukumo had selfishly stolen from her. At least that's how her immature logic interpreted the situation. Never, at this rate, I will never even consider going on a date with you, said Naruto cruelly, stopping dead on his tracks with a deep frown on his face. What, you can't be serious. I thought that you cared about me, you said so yourself. You said I was your precious person, was that a lie? I knew it, you're just like the others. The ones that used to lie and make fun of me behind my back. What, was it some big joke? Sniff, did you just say that so that you could make fun of me? Sniff sniff, I hate you, shouted Karen in anger and anguish, tears freely flowing from her eyes as she turned and ran away, only to be stopped by a firm grip on her wrist. Karen screamed, cursed, cried, and tried valiantly to untangle herself. God, she hated him. How dare he use her like that? How dare he play with her feelings like that? She was so angry she could just God, she wanted to do something very bad to him. Naruto patiently waited for her to calm down. There was no way he was going to let her be on her own in her mental and emotional condition. He needed her to hear him out, and he was going to make her listen whether she wanted to or not. He wasn't giving her a choice here. He would do anything to protect his precious people, and this was just one of those things that he was willing to do. Even if it hurt her so much, even if it hurt him so much, eventually the beautiful redhead calmed down enough to be able to listen to him, realizing that any attempts to escape his unnaturally strong grip were futile. Why did you do this? Why are you doing this to me, Naruto-kun? I thought that you loved me. Don't I mean anything to you? Everything that I've done for you, all the nice times we had together, these past 2 years, didn't they mean anything to you? Whispered Karen softly, hurt and desperation audible in her voice as she clung tightly to the blonde, her face buried into his chest. Karen, I want nothing more than your happiness, but you have to understand, there is no point in us being together if I have such a negative effect. You. Negative effect? What the hell do you mean, you baka? I've never been happier ever since I met you. How can you call that a negative effect? Screamed Karen angrily at Naruto's face, staring angrily at his eyes in hope of maybe seeing through his heart and maybe even his soul. Karen, you haven't grown since the first day I met you, in fact, you've regressed. You no longer focus on the most important things. You're too busy with fashion and making yourself pretty instead of focusing on your ninja career. Sure, your medical and scientific knowledge has grown in leaps and bounds, but you have not applied that into anything that could help you in battle. How do you plan to protect yourself, much less your comrades when danger arises? I'm not saying this to be nasty or cruel, but at your current level, you have nothing to offer in battle besides your sensing abilities and healing. But how are you going to stay alive long enough to make that useful? Have you thought about that? Asked Naruto with a dead serious face. Sputtered Karen with teary eyes and a quivering lower lip. Karen-chan, said Naruto, crushing the slender girl into a warm embrace. Hi, sniff, Naruto-kun. I don't know if you have noticed, but there is something special about your chakra. Your chakra is far more potent. No, that is the wrong term. I should rather say that your chakra is far more dense than anything I have ever heard of before. It is said that chakra is neither a gas nor a liquid, but something in between those two states. If we assume that to hold true for all persons, then you are without a doubt the exception. Your chakra, I would say, is something between a liquid and a solid. I don't know, maybe that isn't an accurate description, but I'm sure you know what I'm trying to say, explained Naruto neutrally. Sniff, is that a bad thing? Is there something wrong with my chakra? Will I be able to continue being SHHHHH? Don't worry, I don't think this is a defect. After all, if you haven't had any problems with chakra control thus far, then there is nothing wrong with you. I think that it might be some kind of Kakejinkai. Karen, you need to get strong. I care about you, and I want to protect you with everything I have, but I'm not stupid. No matter how strong I get, I can't be God. There will be some times that I won't be there to protect you immediately, in which case you would have to hold your own for a while or even win on your own. I want you to be strong, because I don't think I could bear it to lose you, Karen-chan. I plan to rebuild the Uzumaki clan here in Odo, and I need you to help me do that. I need you to be strong so that you can protect our future children when I am not around to do so, and to protect yourself, Karen-chan. I need you to spend some time in the lab and try to discover what you can do with your Kakejinkai, and to follow up by become as strong as you can. I need you to be strong because I love you, and I don't want to lose you. I love you too much to allow that, said Naruto affectionately, showing maturity far ahead of his years. Why, you really mean it? I have a Kakejinkai and you really love me? You really love me, Naruto-kun? Asked Karen with hope and desperation. I'm not sure, but yes, I think it is a Kakejinkai. What else could it be? There doesn't seem to be a negative effect on your body or chakra system. You probably haven't realized this trait about your chakra because you have never tried to sense your own chakra, and it's true that I love you, said Naruto with a deep blush beneath and around his whisker marks, but still managing a bright smile that was meant to look charming and endearing, but looked more like an evil smirk with his triangular shark-like teeth that had permanently developed shortly after his first shark transformation in his battle with bipolar Jugo 2 years ago. But to Karen, nothing could have looked more charming and loving than he did in that moment. His eyes told her more than she could ever have asked for. He truly loved her. She was his precious person. And Naruto-kun, I love you too, shouted Karen, tightening her arms around the blonde. She felt like she never wanted to let go ever again. If she died right now she would be the happiest woman alive. Naruto partially hated himself for hurting Karen-chan, but at the same time he was happy he had said something. The way things were going would have led to her demise, and he would have hated himself 1,000 times more if he had allowed that to happen. I promise I'll get strong, Naruto-kun. I won't fall behind anymore. I'll catch up to you and walk alongside you like a true partner. I won't disappoint neither you or myself. It's a promise of a lifetime, cried Karen with happy tears. I know you'll become strong. I believe in you, Karen-chan, said Naruto, petting his red princess on the head affectionately. Flashback no jutsu end. I tried to sense my own chakra after that. I didn't think it was possible, but I discovered that I can sense my chakra and any foreign chakra that enters my system, and, Naruto-kun was telling the truth about my chakra. It's so dense and strong. I need you to help me discover how I can use this to my advantage. Please help me, Kabuto-sensei, bleated Karen, launching a devastating puppy eyes technique that not even someone as cold as Kabuto could resist. So that's what she meant. Phew. She could have at least worded it better, thought Kabuto, sighing in relief. My Karen-chan, what an interesting development. You've got me. How can I not help you after stimulating my scientific curiosity like that? Besides, you're my prized student. Of course I'll help you, said Kabuto. Really? Sugoi, Kabuto-sensei, when do we start, Kabuto-sensei? Asked Karen enthusiastically. Why, Karen-chan, what kind of question is that? We're going to start immediately, of course, said Kabuto with a mad gleam in his eyes. In the land of waves. So, how are we going to do this, Guren-sama? asked Jugo in a soft and subdued voice. Jugo, as the leader of the Sound Five, had changed his outfit significantly from his former black shorts and bare feet to a white kimono top with a purple rope belt tied around the waist and black ninja pants with white bandages wrapped around his ainleys and black ninja sandals. He also carried no weapons with him, something that a normal shinobi would not ever make the mistake of doing, especially on an S-ranked mission, but he was no ordinary shinobi, not by any means. It depends on the intel Naruto manages to collect about the situation in this country and our targets. By the way, how long do you plan to make us wait, Naruto? Asked Gurren with a cross me and you will die look in her eyes. She wore red lipstick, had fair skin, dark eyes and light blue hair, which she kept in a spiky ponytail with long strands of hair framing her, also wore a teal short kimono, with a grey turtleneck and short sleeves, with a jade green rope belt around her waist, and red shorts, light purple wristbands and navy blue sandals. You should try and practice some patience once in a while, Gurren-sama, replied Naruto, who was balancing himself on a railing on the incomplete bridge of Wave Country with his legs crossed and his eyes closed. He was dressed in almost the exact same outfit as his monster brother, the only difference being that his kimono was dark red, with an image of a dark blue shark on his back. The shark had its maw wide open with razor sharp teeth projecting off of its jaws. The inside of the mouth looked like a dark abyss with two red, slitted eyes glowing from the darkness. Around the shark image 9 long, red and furry tails circled around, almost creating a vacuum-like effect around the image. Gurren, for some reason that only she knew, lost her cool and attacked the unawares 8-year-old blonde with more than impressive speed, creating a crystal spear in an instant and running it through the blonde's shoulder before anyone could react. Who the hell do you think it is that you're talking to, Chunin? I won't accept any disrespect from you or anyone here, as the only Jounin here and as Orochimaru-sama's next vessel, I hold authority over all of you. Got it? Said the 12-year-old Jounin furiously, a fierce and sadistic expression etched on her otherwise beautiful face. Hey RKKKK team, what do you think you're doing, attacking a comrade like that on a mission? That doesn't seem like Jounin-like behavior to me. I don't even get how being Orochimaru-sama's next vessel is a good thing. I would never allow such a thing to happen to me, replied Naruto angrily. How dare you, you traitor. Being Orochimaru-sama's next body, I will become a part of Orochimaru-sama himself, and my powers and body will help him achieve his greatest desires and goals. It is an honor that only a few and special individuals can ever hope to have. How could you even say something like that? I'll kill you for your traitorous mouth, you scum. Gurren, I would suggest you remove that crystal spear from Anika's shoulder before something bad happens to you. You're lucky as it is that Yukumo isn't here to see this, said Jugo with a soft but dangerous undertone. I don't take orders from you, I will kill you too if you get in my way. Now stand down, that's an order. Said Gurren menacingly. While it is true that you don't take orders from me, it should also be noted that I do not take orders from you, as the leader of Orochimaru-sama's elite guard, directly responsible for Orochimaru-sama's protection and security. Ranking positions such as your elite Jounin status don't mean a thing to me. Besides, how stupid do you think we are, Gurren? Asked Jugo. What are you talking about? Asked Gurren, gritting her teeth in anger and still refusing to remove her spear from the blonde's shoulder, who wasn't even flinching from the pain on his shoulder. If you had really intended to kill or critically injure Aniki, then his scales would have reacted on their own and stopped your attack. Also, Naruto could have avoided or even countered your attack, as he would have sensed the change in your chakra even before you created the crystal spear, which would mean that he actually allowed you to attack him. Now I do not know what is going on between the two of you, but clearly you don't hate each other as much as you would like us all to believe, or as much as the two of you even believe. I would suggest the two of you sort out your differences after the completion of this mission. Now, since the two of you are hell-bent on acting like incompetent fools, I will now take control of this assignment. Does anyone have a problem with that? Asked Jugo. Sure, no problem, it's better than having Grumpy Gurren as the boss. Said Naruto with a shark-like smirk on his face. Or you calling Grumpy you prehistoric fish, and that's Gurren-sama to you? Shouted Gurren with an ugly snarl on her face. Enough. Shouted Jugo authoritatively. Honestly, and they used to think I was just an uncivilized animal. You were, deadpan Gurren. Whatever, get rid of that spear Gurren. And Naruto, what information have your shadow clones gathered so far? Asked Jugo with an air of professionalism and authority. Gee. Grunted Gurren, evaporating her crystal spear from existence. Naruto's wound closed up almost as soon as the spear was removed, not even leaving a scar where the wound had been. That made Gurren grit her teeth in anger and envy. The triumphant smirk the blonde was directing towards her didn't make things any better for her temper either. Naruto, I'm waiting, demanded the 10-year-old. Hi. Saluted the blonde rigidly, now adopting a serious expression. This country, almost a year ago, was taken over by the world's richest businessman, Gato of Gato Corporations, but it appears that the purchase of the country's resources and facilities was done by illegal means. Gato is actually very much involved in the underground market and uses thugs, mercenaries, and rogue ninja to do his illegal business, explained the blonde, pausing shortly to give his comrades a chance to digest the information. I see, so the demon of the mist has attached himself to this lowly scum in order to gain job security and financial resources, but for Gato to have hired a shinobi of that caliber, what could possibly have warranted the services of such a dangerous shinobi in a poor country like this? Asked Gurren out loud. Chess right, do you know why Hess here, Naruto? Asked Yugo. Hi, Zabuza has been ordered to eliminate the contractor that is responsible for the building of this bridge, with Gato seizing control of all the ports and using it for his own means. The country, whose economic benefits almost solely flow in from these ports, has suffered immensely. And this bridge is the only hope for the people of Wave Country. If they manage to complete the bridge, they will be joined with the mainland and will no longer require the use of the seaports. Gato will also lose his control of these people and might possibly risk exposure. Still, this bridge builder, assuming he is just a mere civilian. Why would Gato have found it necessary to hire a shinobi to do such a simple job? Asked Yugo with a deep frown. Gato actually sent his thugs to the bridge builder's house to kill his grandson and kidnap his daughter, but I had already sent 2 of my shadow clones to check out the house. They arrived there just in time to save them, but to answer your question, Tazuna-sen has left the country in secret. I was able to find out that he is on his way to Konoha. If I were to guess, then I would say that he intends to hire Konoha shinobi either for protection, to assassinate Gato, or both. Gato must have found out somehow about this and hired Zabuza and his crew as a countermeasure. A very shrewd man, I must admit. We can't afford to have Konoha get involved in this. More importantly, we can't afford to have them finding out about you, Naruto, said Jugo. It's okay, he is only a civilian after all. I'll send a crystal clone after him. I should be able to catch up to him, even if he had 3-day head start, said Gurren. Don't bother, I already sent a squad of shadow clones after him. He won't reach Konoha, said Naruto. Good work, Naruto. Now what about Yukumo and Jirobo, where are they? Also, how many men does Zabuza have, and do you know their names and abilities? Asked Yugo. Jirobo went hunting for food. He said that he couldn't work on an empty stomach, haha, replied Naruto sheepishly, causing Jugo and Gurren to both roll their eyes in exasperation. And what of Yukumo and Zabuza's men? Asked Gurren impatiently. Zabuza has a group of powerful shinobi in his ranks. He has a fellow member of the 7 Swordsmen of the Mist in his squad, the wielder of the Lightning Fang dual swords, Kuritsuki Uraiga, said Naruto, his words shocking Jugo and Gurren slightly, their eyes widening in surprise. 2 members of the 7 Swordsmen, this will be harder than I thought it could be. No wonder Orochimaru-sama gave this mission an S rank. Tell us, Naruto, who else does he have in his squad? Asked Yugo. Hi, well, right now their squad is separated, probably in order to scout out the country just like we did. Raiga is traveling with the demon brothers and a young kid with very strong chakra, possibly older than me but younger than the 2 of you. I'm not sure, but given his physical traits, I am almost certain that he is a member of Kira's Kagaya clan. Kuritsuki Raiga, a Kagaya kid, and the demon brothers, what a formidable team, an elite close to mid-range fighter, a close-range specialist and a tag team of weapons, poison, and Jinjutsu specialists. Quite a complete team they have. They're going to be hard to take down altogether, so who's going to be going after them? Asked Gurren, directing the question to no one in particular. Let us receive all the intel first, only then will I decide how we're going to do this. Naruto, who does Zabuza have in his half of the squad, and what is Yukumo's current position? Asked Jugo, getting fed up of asking the same question over and over because of interruptions. Zabuza is traveling with an effeminate-looking boy. I would say that he is the same age or 1 year younger than you, Jugo. His chakra is strong, and it feels very cold, almost like it's freezing. I think he is from the Yuki clan. He must have the Hyoten Kake. There is also someone else with him, someone also with strong chakra, but my clone haven't been able to even see him. That's been hiding inside the water and shadowing the 2 of them. My clone could sense his location in the water, but couldn't see anything, almost as if he was, almost like he is a part of the water. What be? But how would that be possible? Are you sure you haven't gone senile? Maybe some fish ate a few of your brain cells during one of your deep water swimming sessions, said Gurren, stifling a giggle at the incredulous and irritated expression on the blonde's face. I think I might know who it is, or rather, what clan he is from, thought Jugo out loud. You do? Asked Naruto. Hi, he must be a member of the Hazuki clan, the clan that the second Mizukage of Kiri hailed from. They had the ability to turn their bodies into liquids on a whim, and had an especially strong affinity to water. They're a very powerful and dangerous clan of warriors. Their ability to avoid damage by turning into water and replenish their energy through fusing with a body of water makes them very difficult to kill or even subdue, explained Jugo. They are surprisingly surprisingly very smart and knowledgeable about the ninja world, Jugo, said Gurren nonchalantly. I have to be. I am the leader of Orochimaru-sama's personal guard. This knowledge is very valuable in order to do my job properly. In any case, if this guy is hiding inside the water, then that means he is shadowing those two as extra protection. If they should get into trouble and tackle on something more than they can handle, then he will be their secret trump card or escape card in the battle. It is a simple but brilliant tactic. In any case, where is Yukumo? Asked Yugo. Chest-tailing Raiga's half of the, no way, that's impossible. Said Naruto out loud, his eyes wide from shock. What is it, Naruto? Asked Yugo in slight panic. They discovered her. They're busy attacking her now as we speak. One of my shadow clones just got dispelled. There's only one of them helping her out now. We have to hurry. Said Naruto hastily. But that's impossible. No one should be able to locate her when she uses her cloaking genjutsu. Even someone with a Dijutsu won't have been able to discover her when she was hiding. Shouted Gurren hysterically. The two of you relax, Yukumo is very strong, Shell will be able to handle herself for a while. Naruto, is there anything you forgot to mention? Maybe someone that you didn't sense or notice? Anything strange at all? Asked Yugo. Well, there was something funny about Raiga, he seemed to be carrying something on his back, he had a big bag I think, and there was something in there, but I couldn't get a good reading. I tried to sense what it was, but it seemed like something was blocking my sensor. I don't know how to explain, but that's what I received from the memories of my clones. Wait a minute, there was something else, his smell, Raiga didn't smell normal, there were two different scents coming from him. Oh! Exclaimed Naruto with wide eyes. What is it, Naruto? Asked Yugo. I think there's another human inside the bag. Raiga is carrying a human on his back, a human that has the ability to block my chakra sonar and somehow see through Yakumo-chan's genjutsu cloak. Exclaimed Naruto in realization, causing the other two to widen their eyes in surprise. Jugo was the first to recover from his stupor and subsequently relay his orders. Alright Gurren, make a crystal clone and have it find Jirobo to fill him in on everything and drag him back to the battlefield. You, Jirobo, and Yukumo will take care of Raiga and his team. Remember not to kill them, but don't underestimate them either. We need to get them to join our cause. Ordered Jugo. Gurren quickly formed the hand seals and created a perfect replica of herself out of crystal. The clone, not needing to be given any orders, disappeared in a crystal shunshin in order to fulfill its mission. Alright, I take it the two of you will handle Zabuza, Ice Boy, and Water Boy on your own? Asked Gurren rhetorically. That is the plan, do not worry about us, we'll be fine, you just take care of your part of the job, said Jugo. Naruto and Jugo both removed their kimomos from their shoulders, allowing them to hang below over their respective rope belts. The duo, as if telepathically communicating simultaneously, went straight into their transformations. Naruto turning into a dark blue humanoid shark and Jugo's skin turning dark brown with black sclera and golden eyes, 3 jet boosters growing on his back. Gurren-sama, make sure you don't die, I want to have a one-on-one talk with you when this is over. I have something to tell you, said the shark boy before jumping over the bridge and into the water. Gee, show off, trying to act all cool and hardcore. You be careful too, said Gurren with a melancholy expression. Well, I'm off, we'll rendezvous at the bridge builder's house when the mission has been completed. Good luck. Said Jugo, blasting himself into the sky with his chakra jet boosters. Gee, not you too, show off. Shouted Gurren irritably. I better go, as much as I hate to admit it, Naruto-kun would kill me if something bad happened to Yukumo, thought Gurren, using an affectionate suffix with the blonde's name, now that no one was there to hear her. 0000000000000. Haku, haven't you noticed something strange in the water? That shark, it's been following us for quite a while now, hasn't it? Asked Zabuza in a deep and gruff voice, a tall and noticeably muscular man with pale skin, short spiky black hair, brown eyes, and small eyebrows. He is wearing bandages like a mask over the bottom half of his face, and his forehead protector is worn sideways on his head with a sleeveless black shirt and matching pants, complete with a waist guard, and Kurigakure's striped wrist and leg warmers. Across his torso is a large belt to which a giant cleaver is attached on his back. Hi, definitely not a normal shark, a summon maybe? Asked Haku with a calm, serious and androgynous voice, an effeminate 8-year-old boy with pale skin, brown eyes and long black hair tied in a loose ponytail with 2 long bangs framing his face, complete with a kiri forehead protector tied across his forehead. The boy wore a black kimono top tied with a dark blue belt across the waist, dark black calf-length pants and black ninja sandals. I don't know for sure, Haku, but trailed off Zabuza with a troubled expression. What is the matter, Zabuza-sama? asked Haku with a worried undertone. Haku, if this is who I think it is, then there is a possibility that we might not survive this battle. Even if all three of us fight together, the only person I know that uses shark summons is the strongest of the 7 ninja swordsmen, Hoshigaki Kisame, said Zabuza, leaving Haku to put 2 and 2 together for himself. Every shinobi has a weakness, no matter who they are. All we have to do is to remove the Samehada from his possession, and then from then on, it will be our advantage. We have my ice techniques and the water monster on our side to counter against his Suiton. In any case, even if we don't manage to defeat him, we would only have to hold him off until the others arrive. The advantage is ours here, said Haku, not showing any visible signs of fear. I guess you're right, do it now, Sujetsu, shouted Zabuza. Water release. Demon fish, shouted a juvenile-sounding voice surprisingly from under the water, though it should have been impossible to speak clearly under such conditions. In that instant, a giant wave of water grew out of the ocean a few meters away from their position, surrounding the shark figure and pulling it out of the ocean. The water took the form of a monster fish, trapping the humanoid shark inside its body. Gotcha. No one has ever been able to escape this. What the hell are you? Asked the 8-year-old boy now identified as Sujetsu, staring at the strange creature in slight shock. I could ask you the same thing, nevertheless I've been waiting for you to reveal yourself, thanks for taking the bait. Replied the shark boy with a toothy grin, showing off his razor-sharp triangular teeth, staring at the watery figure at the center of the body of water. So he really is a relative of the second Mizukage, a member of the great Hazuki clan, and that sword floating on the water on his left, isn't that one of the 7 swords of the 7 ninja swordsmen of Kiri? Yes, it is, I see, I thought he looked familiar. I've seen someone like him in the bingo books before, thought Naruto, taking a careful look at the giant sword. It was just as huge as the Zabuza's Kubikirabacho, but looked significantly different. The blade is long and unusually wide, but has the distinction of being completely hollow in the middle, essentially consisting of nothing more than the edges of what would otherwise be a normal cleaver, with a circular but pointed front edge. Its handle is purple, and its guard is as wide as its blade. The 3 small holes on either end. And Nani, you knew I was here all this time? Asked Sujetsu. Of course I did, I'm a top-class shinobi, and a very good sensor type, especially under the water. There is no way I wouldn't have known you were there. You know, you look very familiar. Are you perhaps related to Hazuki Mangetsu? Asked the shark boy. This isn't normal water, it's very dense and makes it hard to move and impossible for someone who doesn't specialize in underwater combat. It feels just like the inside of a water prison, judging by the concentration of chakra particularly around the body water. It is obvious that just like the water prison, the surface of this jutsu is many times harder than steel and is thus impossible to break through with sheer force alone. What an amazing jutsu. To think that he could make a super large and mobile version of the water prison technique that can even be used to do battle against large opponents. I can see how useful this jutsu could be against a boss level summon like Orochimaru-sama's Manda and 3-headed snake, but, essentially, this jutsu is comprised of an advanced level of water manipulation, and that requires great amounts of chakra. This jutsu is just food for me, thought Naruto with a sinister smirk on his shark features. Why you know about my brother, sputtered Sujetsu with a look of shock and what looked like a barely hidden but pained expression. Of course he does, any shinobi who is anyone would know about him. He was one of the strongest and most talented members of our organization. You have big boots to fill, Sujetsu, said Zabuza gruffly, walking onto the water in a casual and yet at the same time fully alert manner, with Haku walking silently alongside him. You speak of him as if he is past tense, don't tell me he has perished. Someone so strong, who could have killed him? Asked the blonde. He died to protect us, to protect me, because I was too weak. Replied Sujetsu with a somber tone, gritting his teeth in frustration, sadness, and self-loathing. We failed to kill the Mizukage, and he sacrificed himself to give us a chance to escape that damn Mizukage. I'll kill him. I hate that place. They call us monsters and hunt us down like animals, simply because we were born different. And that damn Mizukage is responsible for all of this, my family, my brother's death. Sniff, I'll kill him. I'll kill him if it is the last thing I ever do. Shouted Sujetsu in anger, his tears unseen because of the water, but felt by all others present. I understand. Shut up. You don't understand shit, how could you understand? Have you lost your only brother, huh? Do you know what it is like to be called a monster and hunted down like animal, huh? Shouted Sujetsu in anger. Sujetsu? Shut up you fool. What have I told you about emotions? A true shinobi never shows his emotions, especially to enemy shinobi. Emotions are a weakness and should be discarded. Your brother has earned my respect and admiration, and he passed on his will to you, don't taint his name with your foolishness. Said Zabuza in reprimand, cutting off Sujetsu mid-sentence. Hi, Zabuza-sensei. Gomen, said Sujetsu in a subdued voice. You're wrong, you know. I know what it feels like to be called a monster. I know how it feels to be hated by everyone and hunted down like an animal. And I know what it is like to have a loved one die for my sake. I know exactly how you feel. You see, I am the Jinchuriki of Kyuubi no Kitsune, said the blonde, Zabuza, Sujetsu, and Heika's eyes all widened in shock and surprise. Why, you mean like the Mizukage, but if that is the case, then why do you look like a shark? Asked Haku neutrally. I'm glad that it turned out to be someone like me. Fighting Hoshigaki Kisame would have been troublesome. He is someone that can fight on par with the Mizukage after all, thought Haku. It was said that the Yondaime Hokage killed the Kyuubi. Well, people had their doubts. Nobody was really brave enough to question that lie. The Yondaime Hokage was the boogeyman of the ninja world, and everyone, even cages, feared his power. The only man ever to have a flea on side order, placed on his bingo book entry by all the 5 great nations. Jinchuriki are hated just as much as bloodline limit clans are hated in Kiri, if not even more so. This boy may very well understand your pain better than anyone else. Haku, Sujetsu, said Zabuza. Well, yes, my father, the Yondaime Hokage, sacrificed his life to seal away the Kyuubi inside of me, and as for my shark appearance, well, that is a story for another day, said the blonde, for the figurative millionth time shocking his adversaries, although Zabuza was very quick to get a hold of his emotions. You talk too much, for someone who was so easily captured, but that matters not. If you really are the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi, and the son of the Yondaime Hokage, then you could be of great use to me. The Mizukage is the Jinchuriki of the Sanbi. Having a Jinchuriki as a weapon will almost guarantee the success of our next coup. What say you? Join us and become my student and tool, or die right here and right now, said Zabuza ominously, pointing his Kubikirabacho in front of him at Naruto. Well, I have a better idea. Why don't you join me? You see, I escaped Konoha 2 years ago and joined a new village. Atagakure no Sato, our leader, Orochimaru-sama, has sent me on this mission to recruit you and your subordinates into our ranks. We're interested in any talented shinobi that doesn't have a home. Orochimaru-sama promises to give you a home, power, training, and security. You only have to swear your complete loyalty to Atagakure. Think about this carefully. Are you planning to spend the rest of your lives running away from hunter nin squads? How long do you think you can keep that up? Just think, no one will ever hate you or hunt you down for simply being different. You can finally belong, said the blonde, hoping that the demon of the mist would accept his offer without trouble. Orochimaru of the Legender 3 Ninja. I see now, that shark-like appearance. You're the product of an experiment, aren't you? This power that you promise us, if this is what it is, then no thanks. I'm not becoming some snake psycho's play toy, said Zabuza. I guess I should have known that you would react like this. Just so you know, I volunteered for this experiment. I wasn't forced, but tell you what, how about a deal? If the 3 of you can defeat me, then I will become your willing and loyal tool. But if the 3 of you lose, then you will join Odo and swear your loyalty and service to us. How about it? Asked Naruto. Fine, we have deal, said Zabuza. What do you mean a deal? Has already lost. I've got him trapped in my chakra. What happened to my chakra? Asked Sujetsu out loud. I'm eating it. I've been slowly devouring your chakra since you captured me in this prison of yours. I should be free right about now, shouted the blonde. Splash. Sujetsu's body of water lost its shape and completely dissolved, the waves of water crashing into the surface of the lake. Zabuza and Haku quickly jumped away, flipping backwards in order not to get taken under the water and in an effort to stay aware of their surroundings. You're not getting away, shouted Naruto, shooting out of the water at incredible speeds towards Zabuza with his jaw wide open in a biting motion. Zabuza was almost caught off guard, his speed and experience the only reason he was able to intercept the attack with his cleaver. Don't underestimate me, Gra, grunted Zabuza, his eyes wide in shock as he and his cleaver were pushed back so rapidly that they were even levitated for a relatively short while, with the blonde's razor-sharp teeth firmly locked around the sword. The Zabuza, and everyone else's except Naruto's equal shock, they were able to reach the shore still in midair. Before landing harshly on the sandy ground, Zabuza channeled as much chakra as he could into his legs and feet in order to slow down and halt his movements, digging a relatively long trench into the ground before eventually stopping dead on his tracks. Demonic ice crystal mirror, whispered Haku from behind Naruto, flying out of an ice mirror that had manifested behind the blonde at super fast speeds, with an ice enbin prepared in order to put the blonde in a false death state. But Naruto, having sensed the chakra surge before the mirror was formed, was too fast to react, lashing out with his tail. Naruto was able to intercept Haku, smashing him right through his own ice mirror with inhuman power. Arg! Cried out Haku, his body crashing and bouncing on the ground helplessly. He was in so much pain that he couldn't even manage the strength to prepare himself for the fall. Impossible. How was he able to react to Heika's teleportation speed at all, much less with his attention firmly fixed on me? Just what is he? thought Zabuza. Naruto, with quick reflexes and strength, quickly ripped the head cleaver out of Zabuza's hands while his guard was temporally down, twirled around, and with inhuman jaw strength, sent it hurling towards Heika's direction, who had been molding hand seals for a jutsu, having finally recovered his breath. Ice release. Protective ice dome, said Haku calmly. Haku was forced to cancel the offensive jutsu and settle for a defensive one, creating a big dome of ice around himself for protection. The sword bounced off of the ice dome and flew upwards only to be caught by a giant hand made out of water. That's Suigetsu, but I drained nearly all of his. I see, he is able to replenish his physical energy by merging himself with the water. He'll have to find a way to take care of. Naruto was cut off mid-thought by a presence behind him on his blind spot. Giving the enemy your back like that, what a rookie mistake, said Zabuza ominously with a weird-shaped kunai poised to penetrate the blonde's shoulder ligaments to put him out of commission, only to be stopped dead on his tracks by a dark blue tail wrapped around his torso, forcing his arms to the sides of his body. I'm sorry, but what were you saying? Asked Naruto sarcastically. Water style. Water gun barrage technique, shouted Suigetsu, launching high-pressured, hypersonic water droplets from the index finger tip of his left hand, aimed towards the Naruto's torso. Naruto whipped his tail out violently, throwing Zabuza away with incredible force. The demon of the mist crashed into a large tree violently, only to turn into water. Naruto absorbed the chakra from the water pellets in an instant. What remained became harmless water particles that only served to wet him a bit. He substituted himself with a water clone to escape harm and retreated into the surrounding forest. Damn it, I didn't want to give them time to think up a strategy, thought Naruto, also noting that Haku was missing from his previous position. But not just that, Naruto also noticed a thick fog creeping over the battle area. So, they're planning to use their stealth techniques to take me out. Not only that, but all three of them are saturating the atmosphere with their chakra by sharing control of the hidden mist no jutsu. This is so that they can counter my chakra sensing abilities and to blindside me. A good tactic, but unfortunately for them, I've also trained with this jutsu for years now. This was one of the first techniques that Kachan left for me. When using the silent killing technique, a practitioner relies mostly on sound alone to do battle. Do they really think that they can defeat a shinobi from the hidden sound village using this jutsu, thought Naruto, his body reverting back to its usual form. His tail and the shark fin on his back sunk back into his spine, and his body turned the normal color again. Blonde hair became visible again, and his gills merged together and formed back into normal skin again. Sword ninja art. Cutting waterfall, said Suigetsu, projecting his voice all around so as not to reveal his position, launching a rushing surge of water from his cleaver. The torrent of water was so huge that Naruto thought it could even cover a couple of town blocks, visible even through the mist. Kuzo? How the hell does he still have so much? Wait a second, this jutsu has no chakra, what kind of jutsu is this? Thought Naruto out loud in shock. That is the power of my sword, the blue wave gun. My sword creates water and through a natural process that even I don't fully understand. This word condenses the water into different pressurized and concentrated forms of my choosing. Let's see you survive this one, came the voice of Suigetsu, who had moved from the location from which he fired the attack. Kuzo? Shouted Naruto in frustration, realizing that there was no way to dodge such a wide area attack. Thanks for watching.